about. It's fantastic people doing great work and 50% off window installations and 100% financing with approved credit. The time is now to get your home energy efficient. Those builder's grade windows, you are leaking air conditioning out into the hot out of doors. Stop doing that. Get energy efficiency and beauty from Windows with Statewide Remodeling. They've done so many things for me. I love them, and you will too. StatewideRemodeling.com. Check them out. Give them a call, 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. You will love your new windows from StatewideRemodeling.com.
Do you worry that the stock market bubble is ready to pop? If you're retired or retiring soon and can't afford to lose your savings in the next stock market crash, don't miss the free Money Matters Retirement Seminar 1 p.m. Saturday in the Money Matters building on Dallas Parkway in Plano. Ken Moraif has been featured in MarketWatch, Wall Street Journal, Kiplinger's, and Forbes. Clients that followed Ken's advice were out of the stock market in 2008. Don't miss it. Reserve at moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net or call 800-994-0302.
Listen to us live on iHeartRadio, 660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. This is a radio broadcast where we tell you the truth. There used to be lots of broadcasts that told you the truth or something, a close facsimile thereof, but this is the one that actually does it. We don't care whose political axe gets gored. Here we go again. The IRS scandal is not going away, regardless of how many Obama administration officials keep telling you, well, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing new. There's nothing going on here, blah, 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 blah. We find out that 437 backup tapes of emails from Lois Lerner just happened to get erased. It's just one of those things, it was really, well, it's all against the law. And once again, the only reason that these people aren't going to prison is because the mainstream media doesn't want to hurt anybody responsible for all of this malfeasance because they happen to be employees of the Obama administration. And we keep seeing this stuff over and over and over again. God bless Judicial Watch. Man, this is a pit bull of an organization that just won't quit. They announced today it obtained documents from the Internal Revenue Service that confirm the IRS used donor lists to tax-exempt organizations to target those donors for audits. It was yesterday when the President of the United States said that the IRS did nothing of the sort. Not a whiff of scandal, not a whiff of malfeasance. Well, it's pretty smelly right now, Mr. President. The documents also show IRS officials specifically highlighted how the U.S. Chamber of Commerce may come under high scrutiny from the IRS. The IRS produced the records in a freedom of information lawsuit seeking documents about the selection of individuals for an audit-based application information on donor lists submitted by Tea Party and other 501c4 tax-exempt organizations. By the way, the case was Judicial Watch v. Internal Revenue Service. In a letter dated September 28, 2010, then Democrat Senate Finance Committee Chairman Max Baucus, the Democrat from Montana, informed then IRS Commissioner Doug Shulman, I request that you and your agency survey major 501c4, C5, and C6 organizations. In reply, in a letter dated February 17, 2011, Shulman writes, in the work plan of the Exempt Organizations Division, we announced that beginning in fiscal year 2011, we are increasing our focus on sections 501c4, 5, and 6. In 2010, after receiving Baucus's letter, the IRS considered the issue of auditing donors to 501c4 organizations, alleging that a 35% gift tax would be due on donations in excess of $13,000. That's called using the tax code to punish your political enemies. It's the smoking gun. The documents show the IRS wanted to cross-check donor lists from 501c4 organizations against gift tax filings and commence audits against taxpayers based on this information. This is the kind of stuff that would make the people who created Richard Nixon's enemies list, that was treated to basically the same kind of treatment, blush. This is just so corrosively, derogatorily corrupt. I don't know how to describe it well. A gift tax on contribution to 501c4s was considered by most to be a dead letter since the IRS had never enforced the rule after the Supreme Court ruled that such taxes violated the First Amendment. The documents show the IRS had not enforced the gift tax since 1982, but that's not going to stop these people. In February of 2011, at least 5 donors of an unnamed organization were audited. Smoking gun. The documents show that Crossroads GPS, this is great. Crossroads GPS, ring a bell? You know, wait a minute, there's something familiar about that, right? You know what's familiar about that? Crossroads is the organization that's run by Karl Rove. Crossroads GPS, associated with Karl Rove, was specifically referenced by IRS officials in the context of applying the gift tax to donors to Crossroads GPS. Seemingly in response to the Crossroads focus, on April 20th, IRS attorney Lorraine Garner emails a 501c4 donor list to former branch chief in the IRS Office of the Chief Counsel, James Hogan. Later, this information is apparently shared with IRS's state gift and policy manager, Lisa Peel, while Gardner seeks, quote, information about any of the donors. This is East German punish you spy crap. That's what this is. This is awful. Emails to and from Lorraine Garner also suggest bias against the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. An IRS official whose name is crazily redacted, Lois Lerner, emails Gardner on May 13th, 2011, a blog post responding to the IRS targeting of political and other activities of 501c4, 5, and 6 organizations, to wit, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is a 501c6 organization and may find itself under high scrutiny. One can only hope. Unquote. This is it. They've got them cold. They can go to court with this and put these people in prison. Oh, wait. No, they can't. Why? Why can't they do this? This is the smoking gun. This is it. All these people can go to jail now. And as soon as the Justice Department puts it before a grand jury for an indictment, I'm sure they'll pursue it. Yeah, there we go again. There we go again. All right, so we know Eric Holder was an attorney general without a conscience. He's a sociopath. He's a political android. But what about you, Loretta Lynch? What about you? Have you been poisoned by this association? Or can you remember your ethics? You know, a lot of people thought that you were an amazing lawyer when you were the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York. You still got that moxie? You still got those guts? You still have those ethics? Still have the honesty? Do you still believe in the law now that you're the Attorney General of the United States? If you still believe in the law, Ms. Lynch, these people need to go to jail. It's an open and shut case. The Watergate mess was nothing in comparison to this. Nothing. And this president laughs at anybody. See, they want to impeach me. In early May, wait, you got to read this too. The subject line of the email highlights this anti-Chamber of Commerce comment. Quote, "We are making headlines. Notice the end regarding the 501c6 applicability enjoy." Unquote. This critical comment is forwarded to another IRS official, shows up attached to another Gardner IRS email chain with the subject line re 501c4 that discusses a pending decision about a tax-exempt entity. In early May, once the media began reporting on the IRS audits of donors, IRS officials reacted quickly. One official acknowledged the issue is a biggie when a reporter from the New York Times contacted the IRS on May 9th. On May 13th, 2011, former IRS Director of Legislative Affairs, Floyd Williams, discusses compliance with interest from Capitol Hill. Quote, "Not surprisingly, interest on the Hill is picking up on this issue, with Majority Leader Reid's office has suggested the possibility of a briefing for the Senate Finance Committee staff on general issues related to Section 501c4 organizations. I think we should do it as interest is likely to grow as we get closer to elections." You've got to remember, all of these people were being submerged in IRS charges, countercharges, fines and threats, and so on right before the elections, suppressing the political opposition through the corrupt mishandling of the tax code. Later that day, then Director of the Exempt Organizations Department, Lois Lerner, weighs in with an email that confirms that she supported the gift tax audits in open defiance of Supreme Court law. She acknowledges that the courts have specifically said that contributions to 527 political organizations are not subject to the gift tax, noting that I'm aware of that about contributions to organizations that are not political organizations. Section 501c4 organizations are not political organizations. Therefore, they are somehow exposed to the gift tax. Lerner's involvement and support for the new gift tax contradicts an IRS statement to the media at the time that audits were not part of a broader effort looking at donations to 501c4s. All the while, that was going on. People were at least being audited. Once again, this is a disinformation campaign. This is all, okay, we're doing it, but we're telling you we're not doing it, so you're confused. In July of 2011, the IRS retreated. Soon-to-be acting IRS Commissioner Stephen Miller directed that examination resources should not be expended on this issue and that all audits of taxpayers relating to the application of gift taxes to 501c4 organizations should be closed. Acting IRS Commissioner Stephen Miller said, this is against the law. Stop. These documents that we had to force out of the IRS prove that the agency used donor lists to audit supporters of organizations engaged in First Amendment protected lawful political speech. This, according to Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. And the snarky comments about the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the obsession with Karl Rove's Crossroad GPS, shows that the IRS was targeting critics of the Obama administration. President Obama may want to continue to lie about his IRS scandal. These documents tell the truth. His IRS hated conservatives and was willing to illegally tax and audit citizens to shut down opposition to Barack Obama's policies and re-election. Why is it that you have to hear this from me? Why isn't this on the front page of every newspaper in the United States of America? I'll tell you why. Because we're letting these people destroy our country. That's why. We're letting them. This is the Wells Report.
Dennis Prager has learned the language of the president.
Nobody has been better at manipulating language than Barack Obama. Listen to this. They haven't come up with a better alternative. So that sounds, yeah, come on, Republicans, come up with a better alternative. Notice he doesn't say they didn't come up with an alternative. He says they didn't come up with a better alternative. Obviously, he doesn't think it's going to be better.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at noon, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Each week and every Saturday afternoon, whether you're remodeling an existing house or building a new one, doing it yourself or hiring a professional, we're here to bring you interviews with the experts and take your phone calls. And we bring it to you with a little dream, whether it be energy efficiency or organic products for your house. So join us each week for a little House Talk Today.
House Talk Today, Saturday afternoon from 1 to 3 on 660 AM. The Answer.
When the economy crashed in 2008, the Fed lowered interest rates. They've been low ever since. But now the economy's improving, and most experts believe the Fed will start raising interest rates very soon. That means you should refinance your mortgage now to pull cash out of your home at today's low rates, because once the Fed starts raising rates, they probably won't stop. So beat the Fed to the punch and refi your mortgage before it's too late by making the cash call at 855-875-CASH. Today, Cash Call Mortgage is offering a 15-year fix at 2.99% rate and APR with no closing costs. You have the chance to pull tens of thousands out of your home, lock in a low rate, and pay absolutely nothing out of pocket, but you have to act now. Cash Call Mortgage is designed to save. Call 855-875-CASH today.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. 1 City Boulevard, West Suite 200, Orange, California 92868. Equal housing lender. Call 866-900-8744 for terms and restrictions. Subject to loan underwriting. Rates may change without notice. NMLS number 128231.
That's 855-875-CASH.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head dealing with monthly payments, there's a powerful secret that credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $5,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're debt relief advocates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt and make your monthly payment affordable. To see how much you could save, call now, 1-800-791-4933. Don't declare bankruptcy. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Debt Relief Advocates now and see how much money you could save for free. 1-800-791-4933. That's 1-800-791-4933. 1-800-791-4933.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. Let's talk about in-home sales. When I have a salesman in my home, I only want to know two things. What do I really need and how much does it cost? I just don't have time for the whole dog and pony show. So that's how we structured our sales process. There's no drawn-out sales presentation, and we don't waste your time with silly gimmicks. There's no haggling, no calling the sales manager for a secret conversation you're not a part of, and most importantly, no pressure. We simply lay out all the options, discuss the benefits, and then let you choose what's best for you. We give you the right price the first time. It's just easier that way. Right now, you can save over $3,500 on a new Carrier Infinity system. So call 2 other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
A UC Systems engineer/architect is wanted by the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation in Coppell, Texas, to provide architecture solution, engineering, and project work for Exchange 2010, Link 2010, Outlook, Symantec Enterprise Vault, BlackBerry Enterprise Infrastructure, SMTP Relays, Antivirus/Anti-Spam, Vantage, Workflow Deployments, Vontu, Internet Messaging Gateways, and third-party or system integrations. A bachelor's or equivalent in computer science, information systems management, engineering, or related technical field, plus 7 years of related experience required. In lieu of a bachelor's degree, employer will accept foreign educational credentials that have been evaluated by a professional evaluation report to be the equivalent of a U.S. bachelor's degree. Mail resume with cover letter to DTCC. Attention, D. Bagwandas 570 Washington Boulevard, 3rd floor, Jersey City, New Jersey, 07310, reference 24331. 1362.
This is 660 AM. The Answer. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer. This is a breaking news update live on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. 2 are dead, several injured in a Louisiana theater shooting. A movie theater in Lafayette, Louisiana, was the scene where a man opened fire tonight, leaving 2 people dead, several injured. City Marshal Brian Pope confirmed to the Lafayette Daily Advertiser that 6 people were injured at the Grand Theater. The shooter then turned the gun on himself and is dead, said Pope. Clay Henry, Vice President of Operations for Acadian Ambulance, said 2 people were dead, including the gunman, and the 10 people altogether were shot, according to the Associated Press. No one with any information on the shooting could be reached at the Lafayette Police Department late tonight. A woman who answered the phone at the sheriff's office said she was not at liberty to say anything about the shooting and referred back to the police department. Witness Katie Dominguez of Karen Crow, Louisiana, told the Advertiser she was at the theater with her fiancé for the 7 p.m. showing of Trainwreck. When about 20 minutes into the movie, she heard a loud noise. She looked up and saw an older white man shooting, but not in her direction. He wasn't saying anything. I didn't hear anybody screaming either. Governor Bobby Jindal confirmed on Twitter that he is speaking with state police to investigate the shooting. Dominguez said she heard about 6 shots in all before running with her fiancé to the nearest exit, leaving behind her shoes and her purse. Repeating now, a man opened fire tonight in a movie theater in Lafayette, Louisiana. 2 people are dead, including the gunman, several injured. It appears as though 10 people altogether have been shot, according to Clay Henry, Vice President of Operations for Acadian Ambulance. 2 people were dead, including the gunman. Nobody is talking right now. This is just happened. 10:09 Eastern Daylight Time. That's 9:09. So barely 20 minutes ago. This has been reported. So we are all over it. You will hear more about this. Special reports from Salem Radio Network News will be coming up at about 20 minutes until the hour here on 660 AM. The Answer. By the way, Governor Bobby Jindal, Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal, has confirmed on Twitter he is speaking with state police to investigate the shooting. And that is all we know here on 660 AM. The Answer. We're obviously going to follow this into the night here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Again, another shooting at another theater. The only thing that we know from a standpoint of who was responsible for it was that an older white man, according to witness Katie Dominguez of Karen Crow, Louisiana, an older white man was shooting, but not in her direction. He wasn't saying anything. I didn't hear anybody screaming either. Don't know what's going on, but we do know that this is a breaking news event, and that is what you're hearing on 660 AM. The Answer. We'll have more details coming up in approximately 12 minutes from now with a special report from SRN News on 660 AM. The Answer.
Got another minute.
All right, then. So once again, we are in a position here where we have gun violence. This is the MGM Grand 16 Theater in Lafayette, Louisiana. At least 2 dead, 10 wounded. We will see more about that as time continues to pass. We are again watching this unfold before our very eyes. Don't know what's going on with it. Just heard about it. We will perhaps get some more details at the bottom of the hour here with Salem Radio Network News, but a special report coming up in 11 minutes and 15 seconds on 660 AM. The Answer. As we keep saying, you know, we do these radio broadcasts. We spend all day putting them together, and the only thing that changes them is breaking news. And so we have some, and we will do our best to try to find more information for you. As we continue here on 660 AM. The Answer, we will use all the resources we have available to find out more. As soon as more information is available, we will bring it to you live here on 660 AM. The Answer. This is the Wells Report.
Dennis Gibbs, the boat guy, here with the Big Boat and Outdoor Show. It's boating time, folks, so don't forget to tune in to the only boating talk show on 660 AM The Answer every Saturday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. Brought to you by BoatSelect.com, the site with thousands of boats for sale, or list your boat for free on BoatSelect.com. I know you have questions about your boat or one you're buying. Email those questions to me at BigBoatShow@yahoo.com.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes. By calling now, you can whiten your teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, red wine, or smoking. The Power Swabs 5-minute challenge is available by responding to this advertisement. If lines are busy, try again. Because the Power Swabs 5-minute challenge is exclusive, it's not available in drugstores. Power Swabs was formulated by Dr. Martin Ginniger and whitens teeth with a patented tooth detergent and whitening agent. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. Get it risk-free. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037. Transform your smile into a wow, you look great smile. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had numerous credit cards and I was struggling with paying them off because being a teacher, you don't make a whole lot of money.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360 to talk to a certified counselor.
I had heard about Trinity, so I made the call. They took care of all of my credit cards, and now I am completely debt-free.
Trinity will consolidate your bills, stop collections calls, stop late fees, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
The people at Trinity are very friendly. They will do whatever you need them to do in order for you to feel better about being in a very difficult place.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360.
My name is Ann, and I'm debt-free for keeps.
That's 1-800-758-5360.
Hi, I'm Tom Kidd, engineering graduate of Texas A&M and owner of Structured Foundation Repairs. Our number is 972-484-1200. Our motto is to do the right thing. In some respects, it's hard being the company that always does the right thing. But for our customers' sake, it's very important that we do. Being fully insured, as an example, costs us a lot of money, but it protects our customers. Having employees instead of day laborers is a huge responsibility, but our dedicated employees ensure that we do the best repairs we can. Managing a large office staff can be tedious, but they provide our customers a helpful voice when they need something urgent. Returning every phone call is time-consuming, but instills our customers with confidence that we will always be there when they need us. The Aggie Code of Honor states that Aggies don't lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those that do. That code was the principle our company was founded on, and it guides our daily operations. If this sounds like the kind of company you could trust to repair your foundation, call us today for a free evaluation at 972-484-1200 or click structuredfoundation.com.
Every month, Heather Cook helps dozens of people file claims for life insurance bought through SelectQuote. The stories she tells are inspiring, like this one about Joe, a 39-year-old research analyst. Joe was healthy, but with a wife and 2 sons, he realized he needed life insurance just in case. Joe called SelectQuote. His agent, Scott, shopped a number of highly rated term life companies, and though Joe's budget was tight, got him a $1 million policy he could afford. Last April, Joe died from heart failure. But thanks to his life insurance through SelectQuote, his family can keep the house, and the boys can go to college. See how affordable SelectQuote can make just in case for you.
For a free quote, call 1-800-700-1773. 1-800-700-1773. 1-800-700-1773. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop. You save.
Do you worry that the stock market bubble is ready to pop? If you're retired or retiring soon and can't afford to lose your savings in the next stock market crash, don't miss the free Money Matters Retirement Seminar 1 p.m. Saturday in the Money Matters building on Dallas Parkway in Plano. Ken Moraif has been featured in MarketWatch, Wall Street Journal, Kiplinger's, and Forbes. Clients that followed Ken's advice were out of the stock market in 2008. Don't miss it. Reserve at moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net or call 800-994-0302.
660 AM. The Answer. If it's important to you, it's on the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Again, we have special reports coming up in just a couple of moments. A shooting in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a movie theater. 2 are dead, including the gunman. Don't know exactly what was going on with this. 10 other people have been shot, and we are waiting for more word on their conditions. We will get to that coming up in 4 minutes and 9 seconds here on 660 AM The Answer. We don't have one at 9:40? Oh, okay. All right. Normally what ends up happening is that SRN gives us reports at 40, and they're not doing that, so it's going to be a while. What we'll do is we'll just handle it. We'll take care of it here on 660 AM The Answer. As soon as we get more reporting about what's going on, we will bring it to you here on 660 AM The Answer during the Wells Report. Interesting news today regarding the Iran nuclear deal. Was it another stupid statement by John Kerry? Well, of course, there was another involvement by John Kerry, but that's not what I'm talking about. Oh, don't tell me. The Supreme Ayatollah of Iran, Ali Khamenei, said something ridiculous, and no. I mean, how many times can you report the fact that people are yelling death to America in Iran? I mean, really. Let's see. What is it then? Well, tell me. Thousands of demonstrators gathered in, don't tell me, Peace Park in Tehran, right? They gathered and yelled death to, no. Thousands of demonstrators gathered in Times Square, New York, in protest over the recent landmark nuclear deal with Iran. CBS 2's Jessica Schneider reported some 10,000 are rallying in solidarity with signs and voices raised against the nuclear deal. Protesters proclaim Washington is prepared to give Iran virtually all it needs to get the bomb. To release $150 billion to Iran will result in the expansion of worldwide terror. Former New York governor and presidential contender George Pataki decided to stop carping on Donald Trump long enough to join the choruses of voices urging lawmakers to block the deal. Reject this deal. Protect America, protect Israel, and protect the world from freedom, which is probably not what he wanted to say. Probably wanted to say protect the world for freedom. Pataki said, Stop Iran. The Stop Iran Rally Coalition, which claims to be a bipartisan group, is also calling out Senator Chuck Schumer, saying that he has the votes as presumptive leader to override this deal. If the deal is not stopped, New York voters will know whom to blame. Finally, some Democrats are finding their voice. Senator Schumer said in a statement he was not ready to make a decision on the deal quite yet. I've read the agreement, and I'm seeking answers to the many questions I have. Before I make a decision, I'm going to speak at length with experts from both sides. In Washington, Secretary of State John Kerry led back-to-back closed-door briefings trying to sway lawmakers to approve the deal to curb Iran's nuclear program. Quote, "We are convinced the agreement that we have arrived at with world powers is an agreement that will prevent Iran from the potential of securing a nuclear weapon. It will make the region, our friends and allies, safer. It will make the world safer," said Kerry, and we are convinced that the absence of any viable alternative absolutely underscores that fact. That is intellectually lazy and dishonest, Mr. Secretary. We are convinced that the absence of any viable alternative absolutely underscores that fact. No one has had an opportunity to develop any viable alternatives, Mr. Secretary, because you have been in sole control over the talks having to do with Iran to begin with. That's like saying no one from the Kroger grocery chain has been able to rearrange the shelves at Albertsons, and therefore Albertsons is fine. This guy he's a menace. He's an absolute menace. See through this guy like I see through this guy like he's a glass of water. And it's like, how is it that I'm able to do that? How dumb do you have to be for me to be able to see through you? I mean, seriously. Meanwhile, Israel's ambassador to the U.S. is fiercely lobbying. Meanwhile, the Israeli ambassador to the United States is fiercely lobbying lawmakers to reject the deal. Republicans are pledging to do just that. Democrats need to pledge it too, because remember, this is a president holding the Congress in contempt. Not just the Republican Congress, the Democrats in Congress too. A bad deal threatens the security of the American people. We're going to do everything possible to stop it. Stop giving me these weasel words. That's according to Speaker of the House, John Boehner. Stop giving me these weasel words, Speaker Boehner. Find a way to stop it. Do whatever deal is necessary to get a 2/3 majority in that house of yours. Do whatever you have to do. But you got to have a veto override majority in that House of Representatives. I'm very concerned about what our situation is here. Nobody wants this deal to go through, and we're hoping that President Obama will hear the voice of the American people, and we're hoping that Congress will listen to what we have to say, and hopefully we can do something about that, said a protester. I feel that people really don't understand the main issue. To me, the main issue is not what happens 10 years from now, but what happens as soon as the sanctions are removed from Iran, which is the main terrorist regime in the world, which spreads terrorism all around the world, which is responsible for the deaths of Americans as well as Israelis. This is according to another protester telling CBS 2 correspondent Jessica Schneider. CBS 2 is New York, by the way. CBS 2 New York. Several academic, military, political leaders will speak to the crowd tonight. All of them urge that this is an issue that transcends politics. They're urging Congress to keep sanctions against Iran, even if it means overriding President Obama's likely veto on any legislation against the deal. Congress has 60 days to approve or reject. We will see. New York Assemblyman Dov Hikind, a Democrat, was arrested outside Senator Chuck Schumer's office while protesting the Iran nuclear deal. This according to the Israeli news outlet Arutz Sheva. We've been called on to act, and now is not the time to remain silent, Hikind is quoted as saying. We are pleading with Senator Schumer to step up and lead this fight. Schumer's voice is critical, with other senators looking towards him to take a stance. I see millions of people in Iran chanting death to America, death to Israel. And we're negotiating with this regime? It's insane. We've listened to Senator Schumer for years, and now he takes every opportunity to explain the origin of his name Schumer and what it means for him to be a proud shomer, which in Hebrew means protector. From your time as a congressman to one of the most powerful members of the Senate, Senator Schumer, you have repeatedly called yourself our shomer. Now's the time to live up to your claim and put your words into action. We need you to demonstrate leadership on one of the most critical foreign policy issues of our time. Be our protector and stop this terrible deal. Schumer says he's going to do the right thing. He needs to marshal the Democrats in the Senate, including the ridiculous Dick Durbin. Never a more appropriately named senator in the history of the United States. Needs to corral that guy and say, hey, we're voting against this deal. To do otherwise, a vote for this deal is a vote for congressional irrelevance. Period. What does Iran say? Senior Iranian official who led the negotiations with world powers that led to the recent nuclear deal said that the Islamic Republic will continue to import and export arms freely across the globe without restriction. This according to recent comments flagged by the CIA Open Source Center. Abbas Araghchi, Iran's deputy foreign minister, said that he insisted during negotiations that Iran be able to purchase and ship military hardware at any time and from any place, and they'll have $150 billion to pay for all of them. Araghchi vowed to buy weapons from wherever possible, and Iran is to provide those weapons to whomever and whenever it considers appropriate. That's who we're negotiating with. Gosh, if only we had somebody really, really smart and really, really intelligent and really, really experienced to be able to say something that would galvanize American support against this deal. Gosh, if only we had somebody what? What's his name? Former Congressman Allen West? Former United States Army Lieutenant Colonel Allen West? My goodness. What did he say?
I'm not one of these highly educated, easily speaking, kind of intellectual guys. I'm a U.S. Army combat paratrooper. And this is what I want to say. This is the simple message that we should be sending to Iran. When Iran stands up and they chant death to America, all we need to say is, you first.
You gotta love this guy.
What message are we sending? What message are we sending when we sit down at the table with the #1 state sponsor of terrorism? What message are we sending when we sit down with a country that is holding 4 Americans hostage? No different from the last time we had a weakling in the White House when we had 53 Americans being held hostage. What message do we send when we create this false narrative about either we sign this piece of paper that just the same meant nothing to Adolf Hitler, it means nothing to the Ayatollahs, or the only other alternative is to go to war? Well, let me tell you something. The United States of America is about victors. The United States of America is about champions. The United States of America does not surrender to a bunch of black-robed, crazed clerics that want to see us destroyed. What does it say about us when we sit down and we sign an agreement with a country like Iran so that they can become an economic power, so that in 5 to 8 years, when the UN arms embargo is taken away, they can become a military power. And then in 10 to 15 years, they will become a nuclear power. But yet we stand up and say we're going to cut our United States Army by 40,000. We have the smallest Marine Corps since World War I. The smallest Navy since 1917, the smallest and the oldest Air Force since we created the modern Air Force. What message does President Obama send to these people over in Iran? It's not the message that was sent to Britain 239 years ago at Lexington Green when we fired the shot that was heard around the world.
1 minute.
What message does it say to radical Islamic terrorists when we have people that go and kill our unarmed men and women at recruiting stations, at reserve component stations here in the United States of America, and we can't figure out if the kid was depressed, if the kid was on drugs? Well, hell no, he was a dadgum terrorist. That's what he was. Now, I got to tell you something. I got to hurry up and get off this stage because I got to go to a fundraiser and a Broadway show. What type of commander-in-chief do you have when Americans have lost their lives on our soil? And it's more important to come up here and take in a play than go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and lower the flag half-mast over the White House.
Wow. Ted Cruz had something to say. We'll talk about that when we come up next on the Wells Report right after this break. John Kerry has been caught in yet another amazing flip-flop. Death to America, death to Israel. And, by the way, in case you're wondering, there is one group of people who apparently approves of the Iran nuclear deal. We will talk to you about that coming up in just a couple of moments. But I hope, with every fiber of my being, that Colonel Allen West run for political office in North Texas. Don't you? This is the Wells Report.
Bill Bennett breaks down the deal with Iran.
Look, I noticed who celebrated this deal. Iran did, Russia did, Syria, Assad did. But that's in some ways beside the point. It tells you something. It's indicative of something. But the question is, in the four corners of this agreement, does it make sense?
Bill Bennett's Morning in America, weekday mornings at 5, right before the Mark Davis Show at 7 on 660 AM. The Answer.
This is Greg Thornberry of the King's College in New York for townhall.com. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia is unfit to serve and must be removed from serving henceforth on the nation's highest court. That's according to Jeffrey Taylor, writing recently for Salon.com. So why is it that the conservative justice must be removed? Taylor argues that he suffers from an acute sense of faith derangement syndrome, or FDS, and therefore cannot be relied upon to adjudicate without prejudice. It's the sort of biting satire that we don't see too much of these days, and it's not particularly good. But it is revealing. So what specific belief, you might be asking, does Scalia hold that makes him so odious? Justice Scalia is a Catholic who believes in heaven and hell. If that sort of faith makes a man or woman unfit...
This is a breaking news update, live on 660 AM. The Answer.
There's been a shooting at a theater in Lafayette, Louisiana. There is a press conference going on right now. I believe the chief of police is now speaking. The police describe the gunman as a lone white male, and unfortunately, the death toll is now 3. Fatalities are increasing as 10 people were wounded. Another person has lost their life. Governor Bobby Jindal is standing behind the chief of police. Let's join Fox News
ability
channel.
to do their jobs and get information on the shooter. We did, out of an abundance of caution, close the other Grand Theater and have security personnel, police officers were deployed to the various theaters around the city just as a precautionary matter. And that's about all we have at this time. We continue to process the crime scene. As you can imagine, it's pretty chaotic, and our folks are working on that right now.
Okay, so that is the latest that we have here on 660 AM The Answer. Thanks to Fox News Channel for allowing us to access that audio. Once again, at least 3 are dead, including the gunman. And what we're trying to get done here is we are trying to see there appears to be another feed coming in. I don't know what's happening here. Let me double check. Okay, so 3 people are dead, and we will have more information as soon as it becomes available. I have.
Okay, that station that was helping out Fox News, KLFY 10 in Louisiana, on their homepage, it says Louisiana State Police say the shooter is dead, was a 58-year-old male at the Grand Theater on Johnson Street.
Let's rejoin the press conference going on right now. I don't know who this is speaking, but let's listen.
FBI, they're all on the scene right now. You had a location that had 100 or so individuals inside the theater. It can take a while to interview each one of those. The coroner's on the scene. He's inside the theater, as well as crime scene. So when you've got a shooting like this, when you've got multiple victims, when you have at least 10 people involved and about 3 others that are still critical, certainly it's going to take a while to do that. So please give us the opportunity to do that. We'll get the information out to you as quickly as possible. Chief Kraft has quite a task ahead of him to keep all this together and to make sure that we don't compromise the location here, because we still have a case to work on this to make sure that we get everything. I think out of an abundance of caution, you heard that from the chief. That's why they closed the other movie theater. We have no reason to believe that this individual acted beyond this location here. We have no reason to believe that there's an active shooter that's still on the location. There was a lot of multiple reports going on that was a possibility. There's nothing to believe from Chief Kraft's investigators or ours that there's anything else beyond that portion of it. We believe at this point that the scene is secure, but again, there's a lot of work ahead of us. It'll be through the night and the next several days to actually go through this, to find out exactly what put this individual in here, exactly what happened, what caused him to do that. We don't know that at this point, so it's no use even asking. We don't know that. But we'll get to that. We'll work through that. The primary aspect at the beginning of it was public safety, making sure that everyone got out of there safely. They could find out what was happening, access to the shooter himself, and actually secure the scene. That's where we're at right now. So please allow us to work through this, allow the individuals to do the job they need to do, and we'll get that information to you just as soon as possible. I know we have Governor Jindal here. He has a couple of comments that he wants to make, and certainly we want to give him the opportunity to do that.
Thanks, Mike. First of all, I want to praise the first responders, our law enforcement community. They ran towards the shots fired. They ran towards danger, not away from it. I want to commend the chief and his men. I've instructed the colonel, we've been in contact throughout this entire incident, that they should have every support possible from state police. I want to thank our federal and local partners as well. Look, as governor, as a father, and as a husband, whenever we see these or hear about these senseless acts of violence, it makes us both furious and sad at the same time. I think I speak for every mom and dad out there, every parent out there who wants to just go hug their kids. And this kind of just seemingly random act of violence. And again, as Mike said, they're doing their investigation. They will get to the bottom of this. When these kinds of acts of violence happen in a movie theater, when there's no real good reason why this kind of evil should intrude on the lives of families who are just out for a night of entertainment, I know a lot of us are horrified and shocked. The great thing about America is that when any of us suffers, whether it's one family or one community, we all suffer. This is a time for us to come together. I know we've been inundated with calls from folks all over the country. What we can do now is we can pray. We can hug these families. We can shower them with love, thoughts, and prayers. There are families that are mourning the loss of loved ones tonight. There are other families that are in hospitals right now hoping their loved ones are going to make full recoveries. The best thing anybody can do right now is to think about them, pray for them, shower them with your love. That is the most important thing. We will get through this. This is a unified community. The chief talked about all the folks that are here. I can't begin to name all of them, but local, state, and federal. I want to thank all the partners. Lafayette is a strong community. We will get through this. We're a resilient community. This is an awful night for Lafayette. This is an awful night for Louisiana. This is an awful night for the United States. But we will get through this again. I know we've been hearing from folks literally all over the country. We need your thoughts. We need your prayers. We need your love for these families that are struggling and want their loved ones to make it through this night and through their recovery. Thank you, Chief, for your work. All right.
Governor, where were you when this happened? And how did you get here so quickly?
I was in Baton Rouge. We were in touch both with the chief and state police. We came here immediately as soon as we heard there were reports of not only shots fired, but the potential for multiple injuries and unfortunately for the potential for multiple fatalities. It was important for us to be here to make sure they had the support and the resources they need. And again, you've got very quickly, not only were the chief's men here very quickly, folks from FBI, folks from Homeland Security are here, folks from state police. It's been a tremendous coordinated effort. Right now, literally, there are folks inside the theater in terms of gathering evidence. There are folks taking witness statements and talking to the folks that were in the theater. Law enforcement's doing an incredible job. And again, I want to emphasize, they literally were running into and towards the theater as they heard those shots fired.
Well,
and again, I want to thank these brave men and women in uniform. They serve us proudly.
Have y'all been in touch with the president? Okay. Congress, anyone?
At this point, look, everybody's just
do our ID and then we can
I know folks all over the country are trying to contact the chief and trying to contact me and state police, and we appreciate everybody's support. This is a time for America to come together, and I'm sure there are plenty of folks trying to contact folks here in Lafayette, and we appreciate that. And we need their thoughts and prayers. At this point, our focus is on what's going on in here and what's going on in those hospitals. First, what's going on in here in terms of trying to get to the bottom of this, but or even more importantly, what's going on in the hospitals, the local hospitals, to help these folks make a full recovery. I want to thank the doctors, nurses, Acadian Ambulance, the other first responders who are right now engaged in heroic efforts to save the lives and help these folks make full recoveries.
You are listening to Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal as there is a press conference outside the theater in Lafayette, Louisiana, the scene of 3 people dying at the hands of what appears to be a lone elderly white gunman or an older white gunman who took his own life. You're listening to the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
This is 660 AM The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM The Answer.
We now rejoin coverage of this press conference from KATC Lafayette, Louisiana.
But please stay away from the crime scene. This is in the core of our city. It certainly has rocked our community, but we're a strong community that's shown by your presence here and also the presence of the support that we've gotten from all over our country tonight. But please stay clear. If you live in Lafayette, the best thing you can do is stay home, pray for our team, let law enforcement do its job.
We will continue our investigation through the night. We have a lot of very careful work we have to do now in processing that scene. It's a very large crime scene. We have numerous crime scene investigators just beginning their work now. So it may be some time before we can update you again, but we'll notify you when we're ready to release some additional information.
Chief Kraft, is there any more information that can be given about the shooter? Was he young? Old?
The shooter's a white male in his 50s. And I can't say any more than that because at this very moment, investigators are checking out where he lived, who his associates are, all of the necessary background checks that are going on, and we certainly don't want to compromise the integrity of that work.
Any relationship between the shooter?
No, I can't comment on the weapon yet. I don't know myself what it is. We know it was a handgun. But other than that, the first people that are going to get a look at that and get inside are our crime scene folks, and then we'll know more.
Any relationship between the shooter and the other victims?
We don't know that yet either. We don't know if this was just a random act, whether it was a domestic situation. We really don't have that information yet. We're not far enough along to be able to determine that.
No identity on the other victims?
No.
How many are in critical condition?
We don't know that. Their injuries, I'm told, range from non-life-threatening to critical and life-threatening.
And the victims have been in touch with their families?
I think they have. I know that the hospitals were helping us in making those notifications. I just got off the phone with one of the physicians at one of the hospitals, and the medical personnel are assisting us with that. We do have law enforcement at all of those locations to make sure that those people remain safe and are protected so they can get the treatment they need. All right.
Have you been able to meet with any of the families or walk the scene?
We have been on the scene. We are going to be meeting with the families.
All right, so you've been listening to live coverage courtesy of KATC Lafayette, Louisiana. We want to thank them also, Fox News Channel, for allowing us to join that coverage of a theater shooting in Lafayette, Louisiana, tonight, claiming the lives of three. One of those persons it was the gunman himself. So 3 people, 2 people plus the gunman, have ended their lives tonight in a theater in Lafayette, Louisiana. There have been reports of as many as 10 people wounded. Those injuries, according to Jim Kraft, the chief of police of Lafayette, Louisiana, those injuries range anywhere from non-life-threatening to critical life-threatening injuries, which is never good news. By the way, we also heard from Mike Edmondson, the Louisiana State Police. We thought that the person that was talking just before this last round of questioning with Chief of Police Jim Kraft was the mayor of Lafayette. We're not sure. We're still efforting, trying to find out who that was. And, of course, you heard the voice, the unmistakable voice of Bobby Jindal, the governor of Louisiana and 2016 presidential candidate, at least searching for the Republican nomination for the presidency. Bobby Jindal. We will have a special report coming up from SRN Radio News at about 10:20 this evening. We'll have that for you as we continue the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis from my friends at Good Feet, America's #1 arch support. And that invites the question, who needs arch supports? Answer is more people than you think. Do your feet hurt at the end of a day? That's not just the way life is supposed to be. You should have arch support where your feet feel great even at the end of a long day of walking. If your feet hurt at the beginning of the day, man, you got all kinds of issues, and they can be helped. You can get out of pain with arch support. It could be structural misalignment, plantar fasciitis, kind of a foot alignment, supination, overpronation, all these technical things that they know about at Good Feet. And what you'll know is you can walk in pain. You can limp in and walk out pain-free. This happens with so many people. I want to send everybody to goodfeetdfw.com, goodfeetdfw.com, Plano, Fort Worth, Southlake, Absolutely fantastic people. No shots, no medicine, no surgery, just relief from pain. So get out of pain today. 888-660-0942. 888-660-0942 or goodfeetdfw.com. That's goodfeetdfw.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. Let's talk about in-home sales. When I have a salesman in my home, I only want to know two things. What do I really need and how much does it cost? I just don't have time for the whole dog and pony show. So that's how we structured our sales process. There's no drawn-out sales presentation, and we don't waste your time with silly gimmicks. There's no haggling, no calling the sales manager for a secret conversation you're not a part of, and most importantly, no pressure. We simply lay out all the options, discuss the benefits, and then let you choose what's best for you. We give you the right price the first time. It's just easier that way. Right now, you can save over $3,500 on a new Carrier Infinity system. So call two other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Hi, I'm Tom Kidd, engineering graduate of Texas A&M and owner of Structured Foundation Repairs. Our number is 972-484-1200. Our motto is to do the right thing. In some respects, it's hard being the company that always does the right thing. But for our customers' sake, it's very important that we do. Being fully insured, as an example, costs us a lot of money, but it protects our customers. Having employees instead of day laborers is a huge responsibility, but our dedicated employees ensure that we do the best repairs we can. Managing a large office staff can be tedious, but they provide our customers a helpful voice when they need something urgent. Returning every phone call is time-consuming, but instills our customers with confidence that we will always be there when they need us. The Aggie Code of Honor states that Aggies don't lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those that do. That code was the principle our company was founded on, and it guides our daily operations. If this sounds like the kind of company you could trust to repair your foundation, call us today for a free evaluation at 972-484-1200 or click structuredfoundation.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who suffers from back pain, there's new hope for relief without the use of over-the-counter pain pills. Australian Dream, makers of the popular arthritis cream, now offers a back pain cream. It's real medicine that goes on fast and provides effective relief for simple backache. Australian Dream back pain cream has no odor, doesn't burn, and isn't greasy. And it's backed by the empty jar guarantee. Love it or send back the empty jar for a full refund. Find Australian Dream back pain cream now at Walgreens.
660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Some of the numbers are beginning to change in the Lafayette shooting. Thankfully, the number of people that are badly injured has been reduced to 7. Again, their injuries range from not life-threatening to critical and life-threatening. 3 people are now aware. We are now aware that 3 people have lost their lives, 2 including the gunman himself who took his own life. And we have a special report coming up in just a couple of minutes. I'm being hailed by AP, the Associated Press. The police chief, according to the police chief of Lafayette, death toll increases to 3 in the movie theater shooting. They're somewhat behind our coverage here on 660 AM The Answer. In case you are just joining us, there's been a theater shooting. A white male in his 50s, opened fire in a theater in Lafayette, Louisiana. 3 are dead, including himself. 7 are hurt, and some of those victims are in critical condition. We're watching that to see if any of those others are able to snap out of whatever serious injury that they have. These are critical injuries, obviously. That's why they are being listed as critical, and we hope that they are able to win that fight for their lives and make full recoveries tonight here on 660 AM The Answer. We are going to bring you a special report in just exactly 9 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll have that for you here on 660 AM The Answer. From what we understand, a handgun was used in the actual shooting in the theater. We do not know what MGM Grand Theater policy is regarding people bringing weapons into the theater. We know that Cinemark famously had a very strict policy against firearms being allowed inside their properties, even by fully sanctioned and fully licensed concealed weapons holders. We don't know whether that's the same policy in the theaters run by MGM Grand. That being said, however, we will effort that information and try to find that for you here on 660 AM The Answer as soon as we possibly can. City Marshal Brian Pope said that there were several people injured, that they may have been able to sharpen the number of 10 people hurt to begin with, now 7. He may have been somebody that was able to contribute to that. And so far, all we know is that eyewitness Katie Dominguez of Karen Crow, Louisiana, told the press that she was at the theater with her fiance for the 7 p.m. showing of Trainwreck. When about 20 minutes into the movie, she heard a loud noise. She looked up and saw an older white man shooting, but not in her direction. He wasn't saying anything. He was just shooting. From what we understand, again, there are 7 people injured with injuries ranging from not critical all the way through to critical. All right. Let's go ahead and finish our topic here that we were discussing. We were discussing a surprising anti-nuclear deal rally. The thousands of protesters, some 10,000 people, showed up in Times Square tonight and rallied against the Iran nuclear deal. This is big. Apparently, the president is there watching a show, I guess. I know that he was trying to break away from Washington to be able to go out and do something. And I thought he said that he was going to New York to see a show. That being said, maybe that's why these people descended on Times Square. And they are not just calling out the president, but they're also calling out Chuck Schumer, who may be the new minority leader of the United States Senate for the Democrats. He said that he was going to do the right thing. I think the right thing would be, on several different levels, the right thing would be to vote against this deal unanimously in both the House and the Senate, and show the president that he is not going to render the Congress of the United States inert. He cannot render the entire Congress irrelevant. And this just incredible bad faith move to allow the U.S. Congress to be completely circumvented by the UN Security Council, who's already approved of this. They've already approved this deal. Is just reprehensible in my view. It's just not done. It's just not done. Certainly not in a good faith environment. So if there is no good faith, that means it's contempt. Contempt of Congress never looks good on a president, and it never looks good on a Congress to allow the president to hold them in contempt and try to render them irrelevant. And by the way, I do have to bring this up. I have to bring this up. It may sound partisan, but I don't really have any reason to care one way or another. But when you allow your nemesis, and that's what the president has turned himself into when it comes to the Republican leadership in both the Senate and the House. When you have done that, when you allow the president to run willy-nilly over you and render you irrelevant, he's going to keep doing it until you call him on it. There's no reason why this shouldn't be the time. No one in the United States, at least nobody in an appreciable number in the United States, wants this deal to go through. Politically, it is not a damaging thing for the Republicans to stand up and do something about. Maybe that is the impetus that Republicans need. I don't know. But they need to do something. Because if the Congress is rendered irrelevant by the President of the United States, it will be the fault of not the president. No. He's predictable. He's doing exactly what he should be doing. No, the problem is the people that are screwing up the United States of America under these circumstances would be moderate Republicans seeking to play politics when action is needed. I did mention there was one group of people that think that the Iranian nuclear deal is just fine. Who would those people be? Well, the ruling clan of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, The Saudis think this is okay. They welcome the international nuclear deal reached with regional rival Iran. What does this mean to us? This means that the other side deal that the president refuses to allow the Republicans to see surely must have included Saudi Arabia. How could there be anything else? Defense Secretary Ash Carter, gave a surprisingly upbeat assessment yesterday of the American relationship with Saudi Arabia and this particular treaty, asserting the kingdom welcomed the international deal and is moving forward feeling quite well. Mr. Carter, who visited Jeddah and held his first meeting with King Salman, also said the Saudi monarch would visit the United States this fall and was committed to fighting the Islamic State, the Sunni militant extremist group. The defense secretary's description of ties with the Saudis, which he made to reporters after the meeting while en route to Amman, Jordan, was unexpectedly upbeat, considering Saudi Arabia's strong reservations about the nuclear negotiations between big world powers and Iran that yielded an agreement last week. Clearly, there is a side deal in play here. Clearly, there is. This is a deal between the Saudis and the Obama administration through the State Department. There can be no other explanation. It'll just be a matter of days before we actually find out what that is. The Saudis, along with other Sunni Arab countries in the Persian Gulf, view the predominantly Shiite Iran as a regional adversary. Appearing before reporters at the beginning of their meeting, Mr. Carter told King Salman that President Obama very much looks forward to seeing you in September and sends best wishes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're going to be people looking for this other side deal. Yeah. King Salman was not overheard making any promises, but he did say he was sorry he did not attend the summit meeting Mr. Obama hosted at Camp David in May, explaining that during that time there was a difficult situation in Yemen, referring to the Saudi bombing campaign against Iran-backed Houthi insurgents next door. One of Mr. Carter's goals in visiting the region was to reassure Israel and the Gulf Arab states the United States will not abandon them to approve its estranged relationship with Iran. Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead and say this. By the way, thanks to the New York Times for giving us this information here on 660 AM The Answer. Interesting that there is at least a group of people who believe that, yeah, this is an okay deal. One of them, by the way, is not 2016 presidential candidate Ted Cruz. He said at a rally that if economic sanctions on Iran are lifted under the deal, the Obama administration would become the leading state sponsor and financier of radical Islamic terrorists. Wow. That's what you call your basic explosive statement. Good heavens to Betsy. The White House press secretary, Josh Earnest, was asked about the demonstration, said he was aware Cruz had planned to hold a pro-war rally outside the White House. Yeah, nice phrasing, huh? Isn't that great? Here's what he said. He was asked whether he thought all opponents of the deal were pro-war. He replied, they can explain that for himself. What a weaselly, greasy bomb thrower Josh Earnest is. I never thought I would see anybody more greasy, more weaselly than Jay Carney Worker. But Josh Earnest is like, are you kidding me? A pro-war rally outside the White House. You know what he's talking about, right? When he says a pro-war rally, what he's saying is that the president has already couched this as is that there are only two options here: either agree to the treaty or go to war with Iran. And so anybody who disagrees with the treaty must be pro-war. Except Ernest can't say that, because one of those pro-war people may be the new minority leader of the U.S. Senate, Chuck Schumer. So he says they can explain that for themselves. It's haughty, smug, arrogant snots. Boy, oh boy. Tragedy tonight in Lafayette, Louisiana. A shooting that happened just in less than 2 hours ago. To be reported on now by SRN Radio News. We know that 3 are dead, including the gunman. 7 others injured, some badly, some not so badly. Let's get all the rest of the information we need from the Wells Report here on 660 AM The Answer. This is a special report from SRN.
With an SRN News special report, I'm Patrick Foss. A gunman opened fire at a movie theater in Louisiana Thursday night, killing at least 3 people and injuring several others before shooting himself. The shooting took place at the Grand Theater in the city of Lafayette. This theatergoer, Roxy Martinez, tells KATC-TV she heard the commotion inside the theater.
A whole bunch of girls started screaming, like they came out the movie theater saying that someone got shot.
Pat Frederick, the manager at a condo complex near the theater, says all the emergency vehicles caught his attention.
Heard all the sirens and people coming out and chaos, basically, and came out to see what was going on. They had people all over the place.
The gunman was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital. The shooting happened about 20 minutes into a 7 p.m. showing of the movie Trainwreck. This has been an SRN News special report.
Hi, this is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I'd like for you to join me on my talk show this weekend. What I do is teach people how to go the natural, organic route. I stir up trouble, too, because I throw out some things that a lot of people just don't think are correct. You know what? We have a lot of experience to back up what we recommend. Have healthier gardens and more fun gardening. Join me this and every weekend.
Join Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Here it is, Texas summer. Lots of high temperatures, some rain, and some periods of no rain. And put it all together, it makes a real challenge for your soil, your foundation. And if your foundation is doing weird things, or you suspect that it is because you got cracks in the walls or sheetrock or doors that are sticking or floors that don't quite look right, not matching up, call Abacus Foundation Repair. It's the best first call you can make and the only call you need to make. Abacus Foundation Repair. They're going to bring somebody out to map the house with the skill of an engineer, looking for possible causes like plumbing issues so the problem doesn't come back. Let's get on the phone with them right now. 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000. North Texas homeowners trust Abacus, the only company offering Millennium Composite pilings for the strongest foundation solution. They're going to stay with you every step of the way. Work is guaranteed. Certified foundation guy on site at all times. You will be taken care of. It's transferable to new owners. 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000 or abacusfoundationrepair.com.
If you've got a 401k, IRA, or pension plan, I've got some bad news for you. This is Brett Kitchen, and the IRS wants you to think these qualified plans are the best way to save for retirement. They give you a tax break when you contribute. Sounds good, right? Wrong. A qualified plan could be a tax disaster when you retire. With $18 trillion in debt, taxes are already going up. Imagine paying a top tax rate of over 90% like the 1960s. There's a better way. It's an alternative the ultra-rich use that beats the pants off your IRA or 401k. It's been around for years. Your money grows tax-deferred, has no taxes in retirement, and no income taxes when you die. Plus, you can grow your money potential double digits with no risk of losing money when the market crashes. If the market tanks like 2008, you lose nothing. Call Wealth Beyond Wall Street at 800-608-9191 now to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of my brand new book, Wealth Beyond Wall Street, to protect yourself from taxes and crashes. No credit card required. Call 800-608-9191. 1-800-608-9191. That's 800-608-9191.
Our family had a savings account until our air conditioner needed replacing.
We had a vacation fund before our refrigerator had a meltdown.
My family has no savings and our water heater just quit.
Sadly, sometimes it only takes one home system or appliance breakdown to bust your budget. But buying a home warranty from American Home Shield protects more of your hard-earned money because they help pay your covered repairs for you. For valuable free information, go to ahs.com or call 1-800-617-9244. Who wants to pour money into repairs for things like your air conditioner, refrigerator, plumbing, oven, or washer when you get the budget protection you deserve from American Home Shield? Service requests are subject to a fee for each trade called. Some exclusions and limitations apply. It's up to you. Pay for expensive home system and appliance repairs yourself or let AHS help pay covered repairs for you. Protect more of your hard-earned money. For valuable free information, including terms, rates, and coverage, go to ahs.com. That's ahs.com or call 1-800-617-9244.
You just can't get your house to cool down, and your AC, well, it's running nonstop. The AC service company says it's running correctly, but it's still too hot. Who you gonna call?
Heat Busters!
Call 817-422-6868 or visit theheatbusters.com to get a free energy analysis on your home or business. The Heat Busters are experts in radiant barrier, insulation, high-capacity solar attic fans, and more. In Texas, you need more than just an air conditioner. You need an all-over plan. That's where the Heat Busters come in with amazing, affordable solutions to cool your home. They'll seal up those leaks, install solar control window film, and more. When you need more to cool your home, you should call Heat Busters. Call 817-422-6868 today or visit theheatbusters.com to get cool and start keeping more of your money. They bust the heat, they bust the cold, they bust discomfort and outrageous utility bills. Call 817-422-6868. That's 817-422-6868 or online at theheatbusters.com.
Need a tractor for tough jobs? Do more for less with a Kubota L-Series compact tractor. Forged from our proven design and highest quality materials, Kubota has been committed to building the industry's best compact tractors for decades. Get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years during our More Power to You sales event. That's value. That's Kubota. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about costs and terms. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
660 AM The Answer. 660 AMTheAnswer.com. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Some reporting is coming out courtesy of KATC in Lafayette. That's a television station that we were grabbing some audio from earlier tonight. I'm sorry, this is a different radio. This is a different television station. It's KFLY in Lafayette. There is a medic with Acadian Ambulance Company that had a daughter in the theater on the same row as the shooter when the shooting started. This is what he said to KFLY reporters moments ago.
You know, she said that she heard some pops and that at first they kind of just thought it was part of the movie. And then they started seeing flashes. So that's kind of what made them realize that it was shooting. But that's about all she had to say. And you know, then I ran up here and helped our medical team. And they did a great job getting these people assessed and getting them out to area hospitals. You know, I was really impressed with the patrons of the theater, too. People were obviously shaken, but they were calm and acting responsibly. They weren't, you know, running and panicking and trampling over each other. From what I saw personally, it was, you know, it was very well handled from that perspective. I know everybody's shocked and you know, saddened by this, but, you know, we'll come together.
There you go. That is an unnamed medic with Acadian Ambulance Company. His daughter was in the theater at the same time. By the way, that's KLFY. Not KFLY. Pardon? Randall Mann, by the way, was the name of the medic who had a daughter in the theater. How scary. Close call for sure. And so if you're joining us, by the way, we are giving you special breaking news reporting on a theater shooting in Lafayette, Louisiana tonight. Just to recap what had been going on. Apparently, a man in his 50s, a white man in his 50s, began shooting 20 minutes into the screening of Trainwreck, killing one person outright, from what we understand, and wounding some 8 other people. Now, one of those, there were 2 people that died, and then a third succumbed to injuries. Leaving 7 people that are currently injured, etc. The gunman shot himself, took himself out of the circumstance based on his conduct, I suppose. I don't know. Obviously, a man in some kind of throes of some insane feeling that he had to do something that was absolutely murderous. We have heard from Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal, who asked those people who were listening to the reports that we brought you earlier tonight to pray. And certainly that is exactly what should happen. And what we are doing at this particular moment is keeping our eyes involved, keeping our eyes on news from the wires and various television news sites to bring you more information on the theater shooting in Lafayette, Louisiana tonight, claiming the lives of 3 with others in critical condition. Some people with non-life-threatening injuries hopefully will be released soon. More details will be coming up as we head into the night here on 660 AM, The Answer on the Wells Report. Once again, we are also, by the way, wanted to bring you this. The sign outside the theater said MGM Grand Theaters. These theaters are owned by Southern Theaters, not necessarily MGM. So there must be some sort of marketing agreement or something along that line. Wanted to bring that up to you as soon as we were able to, and that was the time. You're listening to the Wells Report here on 660 AM The Answer. Back with more breaking news coverage in just a moment.
To put it lightly, Sean Hannity doesn't like the deal with Iran.
This is the dumbest thing that any president I can think of has ever done. No breakthrough. We couldn't even get the 4 Americans for the $150 billion you're going to give these radical Islamists. What a fool this president is. He's just an utter, it's inexplicable. Inexplicable to me how dumb he is.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Michael Medved at 5 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Each week and every Saturday afternoon, whether you're remodeling an existing house or building a new one, doing it yourself or hiring a professional, we're here to bring you interviews with the experts and take your phone calls. And we bring it to you with a little dream, whether it be energy efficiency or organic products for your house. So join us each week for a little House Talk Today.
House Talk Today, Saturday afternoon from 1 to 3 on 660 AM. The Answer. This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes. By calling now, you can whiten your teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, red wine, or smoking. The Power Swabs 5-minute challenge is available by responding to this advertisement. If lines are busy, try again. Because the Power Swabs 5-minute challenge is exclusive, it's not available in drugstores. Power Swabs was formulated by Dr. Martin Ginniger and whitens teeth with a patented tooth detergent and whitening agent. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. Get it risk-free. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037. Transform your smile into a wow, you look great smile. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037.
Be honest. Will owning a bigger TV help you get ahead in life? Will another pair of shoes make you a better person? Probably not. But what if you could speak another language? If acquiring a new language excites you more than acquiring more stuff, then wait until you hear this. As part of its biggest language learning event in history, Rosetta Stone is giving away demos of its powerful language learning software absolutely free. For your free demo, call 1-800-700-3017. And Rosetta Stone has made language learning more convenient than ever. Learn on your computer or iPad, then practice on the go with your smartphone or MP3 player without ever opening a book or memorizing boring vocabulary again. Do you want more stuff, or do you want a language that will last a lifetime? After all, it's all about priorities. To try a free demo of this powerful language learning software, call 1-800-700-3017. Again, get your free demo now. 1-800-700-3017. That's 1-800-700-3017.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local radio and TV broadcasters, America's #1 source for news, weather, and information on your radio, TV, computer, tablet, and smartphone. We are broadcasters, always here for you, wherever here may be. Tell Washington local stations matter by texting radio to 52886, furnished by NAB and the station. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, it's Flo, and this is my impression of a less than ideal job candidate. Is the owner here? Oh, you're the owner, whatever. So I can only work Monday through Wednesday sometimes, and I gotta get out at 2 p.m. sharp. Band practice, you know? We're big on covers, like how Progressive covers both businesses and commercial auto. Anyway, sorry I'm late, but being late's sort of my thing.
All the coverage your business needs at progressivecommercial.com.
Resume? Nah, I don't really do those. I just like to come in and let my personality shine.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
When you're running your own business, you're bound to be busy. Too busy. Too busy worrying about your budget. Too busy scheduling appointments. Too busy to build a website for your business. And because you're too busy, it has to be easy. And that's where Wix.com comes in. With Wix.com, it's easy for you to create your stunning website. Go to Wix.com and create your website today. It's easy and free. That's Wix.com.
Do you worry that the stock market bubble is ready to pop? If you're retired or retiring soon and can't afford to lose your savings in the next stock market crash, don't miss the free Money Matters Retirement Seminar 1 p.m. Saturday in the Money Matters building on Dallas Parkway in Plano. Ken Moraif has been featured in Market Watch, Wall Street Journal, Kiplinger's, and Forbes. Clients that followed Ken's advice were out of the stock market in 2008. Don't miss it. Reserve at moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net or call 800-994-0302.
660 AM, The Answer. The Wells Report, a daily good old-fashioned North Texas barbecue of anybody trying to take advantage of us on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. We are continuing our breaking news coverage of the shooting at a Lafayette, Louisiana theater. The Grand Theater is the scene of a shooting tonight by an older white male in his 50s who opened fire 20 minutes into the screening of Trainwreck, starring Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer is the star of that, and she tweeted moments ago, "My heart is broken. All my thoughts and prayers are with everyone in Louisiana." What a great thing. And by the way, that was brought to my attention by Bud Kennedy, who retweeted that. Bud Kennedy, of course, the senior columnist for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Here is the very latest that we have from the Lafayette Advertiser. That's the name of the newspaper there. Hazmat crews are reportedly on the scene of the shooting on Grand Theater on Johnson Street, or at Grand Theater on Johnson Street. Media have been evacuated from the premises. Governor Bobby Jindal called for prayers tonight during a press conference. Unconfirmed reports indicated that IRS Marine CEO Bo Ramsey and his wife Jerry are among the wounded. The extent of their injuries is as yet unknown. Quote, "The best thing anybody can do right now is to think about them, pray for them, shower them with your love is the most important thing. We will get through this. We will get through this," he said twice. "We are a resilient community. This is an awful night for Lafayette. This is an awful night for Louisiana. This is an awful night for the United States." There have been 3 confirmed deaths in the shooting at Grand Theater on Johnson Street, according to Lafayette Police Chief Jim Kraft. He said 7 are injured, with injuries ranging from critical to non-life-threatening. None of the names of the victims has yet been released, except for IRS Marine CEO Bo Ramsey and his wife Jerry. Hopefully they're okay. Or as okay as you can be with gunshot wounds. As an abundance of caution, the Grand Theater on Caliste Saloon has been closed. Police are cruising the parking lot to keep people away. This, according to a press conference by Police Chief Kraft, Jim Kraft, in fact. We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet either. This was part of the answer that's being quoted. This is all very sketchy. This is stuff that's being written on the fly and then dictated via phone to the newspaper newsroom. We don't know that yet either. We don't know if this was just a random act or whether it was a domestic situation. We really don't have we have not heard enough to be able to determine that. Multiple witnesses reported the shooter was white, middle-aged, said Kraft. State police have said the shooter was 58 years old and he was using a handgun. City Marshal Brian Pope confirmed that he turned the gun on himself and is indeed dead. At least some of the victims were taken to Lafayette General Hospital. A hospital spokesman said they would release no details until morning. U.S. Representative Charles Bastani said in a statement, "I'm saddened at this terrible loss of life represented in tonight's tragic shooting at a movie theater in my hometown of Lafayette. Bridget and I are praying for the families and friends of the victims at this difficult time. I will work with the Lafayette Police Department, local, state, and federal officials to get to the bottom of what happened tonight." Here are some eyewitness reports, courtesy, again, of the Advertiser in Lafayette, the newspaper there. Jalen Furnell, 20 years old, of Lafayette, was in the Grand Theater watching Southpaw when he heard gunshots. They were very faint over the movie. I thought it was part of the movie, said Furnell. About 5 seconds later, sirens went off. I realized it wasn't the movie. Someone came in on the intercom and told moviegoers to evacuate. Nobody knew what was going on, so they took off running. Outside the theater, police were everywhere. I saw a woman lying on the ground outside with blood everywhere. She was shot in the leg. Everyone started running again, he said. We didn't know what to do. You're scared to walk through the parking lot. You don't know if the guy's in the car hiding in the parking lot, said Furnell. More police pulled up with assault rifles, went into the building. I heard gunshots like a war was going on. When the gunfire stopped, he heard from police car radios that 6 people were down in Theater 14. More police pulled up, charging inside the building. More gunshots were fired. He heard the suspect was down. He had committed suicide. In the theater where the shooting took place, Emily Mann was watching Trainwreck with a friend in the second row from the top of the theater when she heard popping noises and noted flashings coming from a gun held by a man in the same row on the other side of the theater. Her father, Randall Mann, Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations at Acadian Ambulance, said. We just heard from him, by the way. As a matter of fact, do we have that sound available? This is what Randall Mann said, the Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations for Acadian Ambulance, regarding his daughter right there in the same row as the shooter.
You know, she said that she heard some pops and that at first they kind of just thought it was part of the movie. And then they started seeing flashes. So that's kind of what made them realize that it was shooting. But that's about all she had to say. And you know, then I ran up here and helped our medical team, and they did a great job getting these people assessed and getting them out to area hospitals. You know, I was really impressed with the patrons of the theater, too. People were obviously shaken, but they were calm and acting responsibly. They weren't, you know, running and panicking and trampling over each other from what I saw personally. It was, you know, it was very well handled from that perspective. And I know everybody's shocked and you know, saddened by this, but, you know, we'll come together.
Yes, indeed. And that was, again, Randall Mann, Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations for Acadian Ambulance. That company, by the way, responded with 10 ambulances and off-duty personnel who heard about the shooting. They showed up on the scene to help. We heard a loud pop we thought was a firecracker, said Katie Dominguez of Karen Crow. That was at the 7 p.m. showing of Trainwreck with her fiancé, Joshua Doggett. About 20 minutes into the movie, Dominguez said she heard a loud noise. She saw an older white man standing up and shooting down, not in her direction. He wasn't saying anything. I didn't hear anybody screaming either. She heard about 6 shots. Then she and Doggett ran to the nearest exit, leaving behind her shoes and purse. The White House was reportedly looking for city parish president Joey Durrell's phone number. The Grand Theaters in Lafayette and Broussard are owned by New Orleans-based Southern Theaters, LLC. The company operates multiplex stadium seating movie theaters in Louisiana, Alabama, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, here in Texas, and Virginia. Once again, as we have been bringing to you virtually since it happened, there was a shooting tonight at a Lafayette, Louisiana theater. 3 people are known dead. 7 others are wounded with injuries ranging from life-threatening to non-life-threatening. And we are keeping track of all of it. We are also reaching out to sources that we know in Louisiana to help us with some of this coverage, and we will bring you more information as soon as it becomes available here on 660 AM The Answer. You're listening to the Wells Report. I'm Jon-David Wells. Thank you again for joining us. We'll wait for more information to come to us, and in the meantime, what we will do is we will move on with our regular scheduled programming at this time here on 660 AM The Answer. Our next live update from SRN News will be at 11:20. 11:20 tonight. We'll get the very latest from there, and hopefully we will see and hear more about what's going on there. By the way, one of the stories that we have been watching is the people of communities across the land taking up arms and guarding U.S. military personnel at various locations in their states. This is something that heartened me regarding that my neighbors would do something so wonderful as to protect those people in recruiting offices and the like around the states that they live in. However, there have been some problems here. And I wanted to deal with that. There were bits of information from the United States Marine Corps. A memo was issued aiming to provide guidance to the force on how to interact with militias or militiamen or citizens that were guarding recruiting centers. states that local law enforcement are, the memo said that local law enforcement are to be notified as soon as armed civilians appear. Posted by Oath Keepers, an organization dedicated to defending the Constitution, the memo details the background context of the situation, as well as actions that military personnel are supposed to take in light of armed militias gathering around recruiting centers to ward off possible attacks. This seems ferociously tone deaf to me, but then again, I'm just a private citizen. All right, I'm not a Marine. I'm not in Marine Command. I don't really know what's going on. And to be perfectly honest with you, there are other people that are creating question marks and thought bubbles over my head, not the least of which the U.S. Army. The U.S. Army has warned its recruiters to treat the gun-toting civilians gathering at centers across the country in the wake of the Chattanooga, Tennessee shootings as a security threat. Soldiers should avoid anyone standing outside the recruiting centers attempting to offer protection and report them to law enforcement and the command if indeed they feel threatened. This according to a U.S. Army Recruiting Command policy letter issued Monday. Armed citizens, some associated with activist groups and militias, were standing vigil outside recruiting centers in Wisconsin, Georgia, Tennessee, Idaho, and Texas this week. Among other places, saying they wanted to provide protection to the service members barred from carrying firearms on duty. 4 Marines and a sailor were killed by Mohammed Youssef Abdulaziz, a 24-year-old Kuwaiti-born resident of Tennessee, this during an attack on a strip mall recruiting center and a Navy facility that is being investigated as an act of terrorism. Abdulaziz fired into the front of the recruiting station. There were no casualties. 5 service members were killed during an attack on a Naval Support Operations Center, which happened a little bit later on. A Navy officer and a Marine reportedly fired at the gunman, though it's unclear why they were armed. It is against Defense Department policy for anyone other than military, police, or law enforcement to carry weapons on federal property. I'm sure the citizens mean well, but we cannot assume in every case that this is peaceful behavior. We don't want to advocate what they are doing. This, according to the Army Command Operations Center Security Division letter, which was authenticated by the service itself. Recruiters were ordered not to interact or acknowledge the armed civilians, who have been greeted by a mix of concern, indifference, and gratitude by the public. If questioned by these alleged concerned citizens, be polite, professional, and terminate the conversation immediately. Report the incident to local law enforcement. As the incidents crop up around the country, police could be asked to confront the civilians with guns on the Army's behalf. Ensure your recruiters clearly articulate to local police the civilians may be armed and in possession of a concealed carry permit, it told the centers. The command said recruiters should also immediately fill out an Army security report. Kelly Bland, spokeswoman for Army Recruiting Command, said the service has been increasing vigilance following the Chattanooga shooting and that local residents can help in other ways. I don't know what those would be, but again, please refer to my original statement. I am coming to you as a private citizen tonight in this reportage on this broadcast. By the way, there was some background information. The Chattanooga gunman who stormed a military training compound had an assault rifle, a handgun, and a shotgun. Police hot on his trail as he stalked his victims, spraying bullets and sending his target scrambling before fire from police and at least one service member ended his rampage. In the most complete picture offered by law enforcement yet of Thursday's dual attacks, authorities including Edward Reinhold, the FBI special agent in charge of the Knoxville division, described how Mohammed Abdulaziz rammed his car into the defense of the Navy Operations Support Center and the Marine Corps Reserve Center minutes after peppering a recruiting office 7 miles away. Police called to the scene of the first shooting arrived at the center just as Abdulaziz was blasting his way through a building Reinhold referred to as the compound. 4 Marines and a Navy sailor died, but the toll could have been bloodier had the local cops not been in hot pursuit. Chattanooga police were in pursuit, however, not on his bumper. They made entry as fast as they could. Abdulaziz managed to enter the building despite being shot by a service member who saw him burst through the gate. The suspected homegrown violent extremist went through the building pursuing sailors and Marines and killing one inside. This according to Major General Paul Breyer, commanding general of the 4th Marine Division, said that 20 Marines and 2 Navy corpsmen were in the building when Abdulaziz burst in and reacted the way you would expect, rapidly going from room to room to get others to safety, and then returned to confront the killer. Wow. Running toward the gunfire. Abdulaziz worked his way through the building, went out a back door, killed 2 more service members in a gated motor pool area. As service members attempted to provide cover for others to climb a fence to safety, 2 more service members were gunned down. All victims appeared to have been killed by the same weapon. Once again, we are keeping track of what's going on in Lafayette, Louisiana, the scene of a shooting in a theater tonight. More details on that coming up next. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
20 plus years of unemployment. That's what retirement is or should be, but imagine still working when you're 75 because you didn't have an exit plan for the next stock market crash. If you think your current plan has too much risk, listen to Rick Foster and Kevin Christ Sundays at 11 a.m. on 660 AM The Answer. Rick and Kevin will tell you the truth about the financial world we live in. No one knows when the next correction will be. So listen to Plain Talk No Worries with Rick Foster and Kevin Christ Sundays at 11 a.m. on 660 AM The Answer.
The presidential primary season is so busy, it feels like it's February already. This coming Sunday on my show, we'll talk with one of the GOP candidates for president, Carly Fiorina. We'll talk with her about Hillary's latest lies, the Iranian deal, and what Congress should do about it. This is Debbie Georgatis, and on Ladies Can We Talk truth about America and why it matters to you. Tune in every Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer.
This plan is not insurance and does not meet minimum credible coverage requirements under the Affordable Care Act. This discount card program contains a 30-day cancellation and refund period. Administrator and benefits limited in Dallas, Texas, and all available in all states.
You went to the dentist and he said you have to have a root canal and a crown. That's going to eat up almost $3,000. You could get it all for around $1,600. That's almost 50% less because you're a member of RealMedSavings.com. What is Real Med Savings? It's a membership like a discount club that lets you access huge networks of medical professionals for a whole lot less money. You save money because we've already negotiated the discounts. RealMedSavings.com costs less than $1 a day for the whole family. But Real Med Savings is not just for dental. It's doctor's consultations, vision, prescription drugs, and more. There's no long-term commitment and no salesman is going to call. Cancel anytime. Save real money on healthcare you need and use for everyday medical problems. Real medical savings for your entire family. RealMedSavings.com.
Have you been holding out for a good deal to replace your old AC system? Well, now there's a new program that's too good to pass up. I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. You've probably already heard that you can save over $3,500 on a new Infinity system with Carrier's Cool Cash, but did you know that for a limited time, you can also get an additional $1,000 off from your utility provider? That's right. And when you combine these two programs, we're talking saving over $4,500 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. But the utility funds are limited, and the program will end when the money runs out. So right now, we're scheduling free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. Call us now, or if you want, call 2 other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437, or online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Finally, the rain appears to be over and summer is upon us. The recent rains have caused the clay soil to expand and raise some homes with foundation problems, making them appear to be fixed. I'm Tom Kidd, engineering graduate of Texas A&M and owner of Structured Foundation Repairs. Our number is 972-484-1200. Listen, heavy rain swelling the clay soil and raising homes with foundation problems is like pumping air into a tire with a slow leak. It may look like the tire is fixed, but it is still leaking air and will eventually go flat again. If you think this might be happening with your home, call Structured Foundation Repairs today for a free, comprehensive evaluation of your foundation. We'll let you know if you have a foundation problem or if you're just experiencing normal seasonal movement. We'll also check to see if you have a drainage problem around your home and make recommendations if the drainage should be improved. We're fully insured and our peers come back by a lifetime transferable warranty. So if you have questions about your foundation or think you might have a drainage problem, call Structured Foundation Repairs today at 972-484-1200 or click structuredfoundation.com.
Start your own business? They'll say you're crazy to put everything on the line to be your own boss, but not GoDaddy. We like that courageous, passionate kind of crazy, and we can help you put the idea or business you're crazy passionate about online. With our Get Online Today toolkit, you get a memorable domain name, a professional website, and a personalized email powered by Microsoft Office 365. Sound expensive? It's not. For a limited time, GoDaddy's Get Online Today toolkit is just $1 a month. Just $1. With the purchase of an annual plan, starting your dream business or putting your business online isn't crazy. Passing on GoDaddy.com's Get Online Today toolkit for only $1 a month? That's a little crazy. We've helped millions of small business owners, and we can help you too. Try the Get Online Today toolkit from GoDaddy.com and get a domain name, a website, and email for only $1 a month. Oh yeah, the web hosting and 24/7 live customer support, totally free. Check it out at GoDaddy.com/radio. That's GoDaddy.com/radio. Domain included with annual plan only. See site for details.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Bobby Jindal is talking to the media. He's got a couple of comments here. First comment, he discusses how he felt when he heard about the shooting.
It's both shocking and frustrating and horrifying all at the same time. You're both saddened and frustrated and angry. You read about these incidents across our country. You don't think it'll happen in Louisiana. You don't think it'll happen in Lafayette. I mean, it's summer break. It's something we do routinely. And it's something you don't think twice about as a parent. You don't think when your child goes to a movie they could be in harm's way. This was a regular Thursday. When this evening started, it was a regular Thursday night for a lot of families. A lot of them were just, these teachers, one last movie before they go back to school. This was, for a lot of families, this was one last outing before school starts for them in just several days and a couple of weeks. You never think that this could be the scene of a horrific shooting. So I was angry and upset all at the same time.
And then somebody asked about the obligatory gun control question.
Look, right now, we're just learning the details of what have happened. Law enforcement is still clearing the scene. They're still, as we're speaking, they're interviewing witnesses. They're clearing the movie theater, looking for evidence, looking for suspicious materials. Let's focus on the victims right now. Let's focus on their recoveries. There'll be a time for, and I'm sure that folks will want to jump into the politics of this. Now's not the night. Tonight's not the night for us to be political. Let's focus on helping those that are injured get better. Let's focus on grieving with the families who have lost their loved ones. Let's pray with them. Let's shower them with love. There'll be time for all that. Right now, let's let law enforcement do their jobs, and let's let the healthcare professionals do theirs as well.
Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal, very presidential in that answer regarding gun control, already being brought up by the mainstream media. There is more news on that particular issue, which I will have next. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM, The Answer.
The Mike Gallagher Show.
Two key passages of the Iranian deal are being kept secret, and it is a huge, huge story that threatens to blow the lid off the deal that Obama and Kerry did with Iran over the nuclear issue. We're going to dive into that next time. And we may or may not have the real Donald Trump.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 10, right before Dennis Prager at noon on 660 AM. The Answer.
This is Greg Thornberry of the King's College in New York for townhall.com. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia is unfit to serve and must be removed from serving henceforth on the nation's highest court. That's according to Jeffrey Taylor, writing recently for Salon.com. So why is it that the conservative justice must be removed? Taylor argues that he suffers from an acute sense of faith derangement syndrome, or FDS, and therefore cannot be relied upon to adjudicate without prejudice. It's the sort of biting satire that we don't see too much of these days, and it's not particularly good. But it is revealing. So what specific belief, you might be asking, does Scalia hold that makes him so odious? Justice Scalia is a Catholic who believes in heaven and hell. If that sort of faith makes a man or woman unfit to serve, the future of the nation itself looks grim indeed. I'm Greg Thornberry.
Our family had a savings account until our air conditioner needed replacing.
We had a vacation fund before our refrigerator had a meltdown.
My family has no savings and our water heater just quit.
Sadly, sometimes it only takes one home system or appliance breakdown to bust your budget. But buying a home warranty from American Home Shield protects more of your hard-earned money because they help pay your covered repairs for you. For valuable free information, go to ahs.com or call 1-800-617-9244. Who wants to pour money into repairs for things like your air conditioner, refrigerator, plumbing, oven, or washer when you get the budget protection you deserve from American Home Shield? Service requests are subject to a fee for each trade called. Some exclusions and limitations apply. It's up to you. Pay for expensive home system and appliance repairs yourself or let AHS help pay covered repairs for you. Protect more of your hard-earned money. For valuable free information, including terms, rates, and coverage, go to ahs.com. That's ahs.com or call 1-800-617-9244.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group. On the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Paul Stevens. A gunman opens fire at a movie theater in Lafayette, Louisiana on Thursday night.
We had 7 victims injured, 2 victims who were shot are deceased, and the shooter is deceased.
So 3 dead.
3 dead. 10 altogether.
Lafayette Police Chief Jim Kraft, once again, a total of 10 people shot. The gunman said to be a 58-year-old white male who killed himself. His name not being released as of yet. That attack at the Grand Theater in the city of Lafayette, that's a multiplex with 16 screens. Those shootings happening about 20 minutes into a 7 o'clock local time showing of the movie Trainwreck. Once again, 3 people confirmed dead, including a lone gunman. 7 people injured after a shooting at a movie theater Thursday night in Lafayette, Louisiana. And this is a Fox News Alert.
Stimulating talk, 660 AM, The Answer. To put it lightly, Sean Hannity doesn't like the deal with Iran.
This is the dumbest thing that any president I can think of has ever done. No breakthrough. We couldn't even get the 4 Americans for the $150 billion you're going to give these radical Islamists. What a fool this president is. He's just an utter, it's inexplicable to me how dumb he is.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Michael Medved at 5 on 660 AM, The Answer.
How will the future affect the money decisions you make now? Find out Saturday morning with Jerry Tuma and John Criswell on Smart Money. Smart Money will bring you the latest information regarding financial markets and what it means to you in your investment and retirement portfolio. Not knowing could be costly. Smart Money, a voice of experience and integrity. With Jerry Tuma and John Criswell.
Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. on The Word, 100.7 FM.
From Plano to Denton down to Louisville too. Hot has it. Also in McKinney, we'll prove it to you. Hot has it.
Mr. Ray Huffines.
We truly believe because we are family owned and family run, we go the extra mile for you at Huffines.
And now at both locations of family-owned and family-run Huffines Chevrolet in Plano and Louisville, we'll go the extra mile for you with our biggest July savings ever on every new Huffines Chevrolet car, truck, and SUV in stock. Plus, Huffines saves you even more with the highest cash rebates and lowest financing available. And top dollar for your trade. In Plano, see Ray Huffines Chevrolet at Coit Road and Plano Parkway. And in Louisville, Huffines Chevrolet on I-35. For more, click to Huffines.net. Chevy, find new roads.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. Got a question. Why is your mobile phone bill going to help Hillary become president of the United States? Answer is, same reason Big Mobile helped Obama win twice. It's what they do. Now Hillary's counting on Big Mobile to help her in 2016. If you're okay with that, don't listen further. But if you don't want to support Hillary or other leftist candidates and causes, switch to EOS Mobile. EOS Mobile. Website is EOScell, EOSCELL.com to learn more. EOS has the same great nationwide network, high-speed data, voice, pretty much everywhere across the country. EOS has the same devices you have come to love. And with plans starting at $9.99, a plan for every budget. But best of all, EOS Mobile at EOScell.com gives 5% of each bill to conservative causes and candidates. If you're stuck in a contract, they'll buy you out. If you want your phone bill to support conservative candidates, the choice is clear. EOScell.com. Learn more now at EOSCELL.com. EOScell.com. Same phones, same service, better causes. EOScell.com. EOSCELL.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had numerous credit cards and I was struggling with paying them off because being a teacher, you don't make a whole lot of money.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360 to talk to a certified counselor.
I had heard about Trinity, so I made the call. They took care of all of my credit cards, and now I am completely debt-free.
Trinity will consolidate your bills, stop collections calls, stop late fees, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
The people at Trinity are very friendly. They will do whatever you need them to do in order for you to feel better about being in a very difficult place.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360.
My name is Ann, and I'm debt-free for keeps.
That's 1-800-758-5360.
We are visiting our friend Chef Tom Fleming at Crossroads Diner. What do you have cooking today, Tom?
Let me ask you a question. Where you been getting your fried yardbird on lately? I know what you're thinking. Yeah, it's fried chicken. Well, at the diner, we do it a little bit different. Hand-pounded, hand-breaded, fried to order, and it comes with the best smooth, warm, creamy brie cheese. And then we top it with, oh my God, I can't even believe this, a tomato caper relish that is just out of this world. So if you've been eating fried yardbird somewhere else, come by the Crossroads Diner because my yardbird's the best.
Fresh ingredients sure to please any sophisticated palate and taste at affordable diner prices in a casual environment. Crossroads Diner. Come eat with us. We're off of Walnut Hill, just east of 75. Open for breakfast and lunch Tuesday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Or visit us on the web at crossroads-diner.com. Homestyle goodness meets traditional diner. Great recipes, fresh ingredients, comfortable environment, and genuine hospitality are the heart and soul of Crossroads Diner. We'll be waiting for you.
Rembrandt Rockefeller for Sovereign European Sleep Systems. Did you pay a lot for that, quote, top-of-the-line mattress, and is it already breaking down and uncomfortable? Time to look into a Sovereign European Sleep System. The Sovereign bed is simply a better bed, made with certified organic cotton and wool and 100% natural latex cushioning, never polyurethane, never memory foam. Custom tailored for greater comfort based on your size, weight, and primary sleeping positions. European quality and components at made-in-America prices. Sovereign European Sleep Systems, Inwood and Lovers in Dallas. Learn more at sovn.com.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. We're bringing you continuing coverage of the loss of the Lafayette theater shooting, the Grand Theaters in Lafayette, Louisiana, rocked by gunfire tonight as a man in his 50s apparently stood up in one of the last rows of the theater, the second to last row, and started shooting people in front of him. That is based on some eyewitness testimony that we heard earlier tonight. And what we wanted to give you was some information about the theaters themselves, the Grand Theaters owned by Southern Theaters of New Orleans. They have a conduct policy. Here's what the conduct policy says. The Grand Theaters are private property. If you fail or refuse to follow this code of conduct, you will be asked to leave the theater and may be banned from all the Grand Theaters. If you fail or refuse to leave when requested to do so, you will be arrested and prosecuted for criminal trespassing. Our theater prohibits outside food or drink, smoking, including e-cigarettes, and possession of firearms or weapons of any kind, regardless of whether openly concealed, openly carried, or concealed with or without a permit. That means that the people in the Grand Theater tonight did not have a chance if they followed the rules. They did not have a chance to defend themselves against someone who refused to follow the rules and decided to start shooting. Already tonight, people are bringing up gun control as a matter of course in all of the press conferences, etc. The very good Bobby Jindal said, this isn't the time. Well, not according to the media. The Grand Theater has decided that people who do arrive at their theater and watch the entertainment therein, they are mandated to be absolutely defenseless before the gunfire from somebody who, for whatever reason, just doesn't care about the law or the rule. The conduct policy, it clearly states that you're not allowed to bring a weapon, a firearm of any kind, openly carried, concealed carried, with or without a permit. Well, if that's the case, then why did this guy have a weapon? Didn't he know it was against the rules? The absurdity of all of that is just, it's mind-numbing. But if you want to know somebody that really knows what's next, really understands what to say and when, listen to Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal regarding this very same topic.
Look, right now, we're just learning the details of what have happened. The law enforcement is still clearing the scene. They're still, as we're speaking, they're interviewing witnesses. They're clearing the movie theater, looking for evidence, looking for suspicious materials. Let's focus on the victims right now. Let's focus on their recoveries. There'll be a time for, and I'm sure that folks will want to jump into the politics of this. Now's not the night. Tonight's not the night for us to be political. Let's focus on helping those that are injured get better. Let's focus on grieving with the families who have lost their loved ones. Let's pray with them. Let's shower them with love. There'll be time for all that. Right now, let's let law enforcement do their jobs, and let's let the healthcare professionals do theirs as well.
As I continue to read the conduct policy, this gunman was obviously in violation of several of the entries. Not just one. I mean, he actually brought a firearm into the theater. He's also guilty of disruptive and disorderly conduct. By the way, a lot of the people in the theater are also guilty of disruptive or disorderly conduct. No one should shout, scream, or throw objects, run. There's no running. Apparently, that policy completely ignored by people trying to get out of the way of the fact that they were mandated to be in a defenseless posture before the maelstrom in the Grand Theater. Any conduct that reasonably could be construed as interfering with or interrupting another's right to enjoy the movie-going experience. Nothing like getting shot at to ruin the movie-going experience, is there? Phone calls, texting, emailing during the film. It doesn't say shooting. But I imagine that would probably be under the disruptive behavior before. Let's see. Inappropriate and offensive attire. I wonder if a bulletproof vest would be thought of as... Could you... Yeah. And what about the unnecessary showing of blood? Let's see. Violence, intimidation, or physically threatening behavior. Obviously, the gunman is guilty of that. Unlawful conduct or activity. Yeah. Littering. He's also guilty of littering. I'm sure unless he's firing a revolver. I mean, the gun casings are being carelessly thrown on the floor. That's not popcorn, that's brass. Well, goodness gracious, what do we do with that? Well, let's use this special drain created just for that. You surely have heard of a brass hole. Defacing, damaging, or destroying any property belonging to the Grand Theaters or any of its employees. Let's see what else. Theater management, which may be withheld within the theater's sole discretion. I don't know what that means. Anyway, so obviously this guy is very seriously in violation of many of the policies here. There's no telling what kind of gun law he decided to violate. It just goes to show you that those dang guys that would shoot somebody else just don't care about gun law. It's almost like the only people that actually follow the conduct policy of the Grand Theaters are most of the people that were defenseless. I know of at least 9 people in the theater that absolutely followed the conduct policy. Unfortunately, 2 of them are dead. 7 others are in hospitals. A couple have been released from what we understand. Thank goodness. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. The only other thing that I'll share with you on this is that FEMA has many courses that you should be aware of. And one of them is a module on there's a module in the FEMA courses about active shooter. And you should do your absolute dead level best to read it and do the course. Get your certificate for it, in fact. Okay? Active shooter. It's a FEMA course, active shooter. If you put that, you know what? If you put that, if you do a search for that, it'll pop right up. And could you put a link to the FEMA online courses on the Wells Report page of 660 AM The Answer? Yes.
Right now on ksky.com, the FBI Dallas is holding another active shooter course. Rod Fullenwinder is the guy we talked to.
Right.
I'm working to get him on, but in September, he's holding another class.
Okay, you should take one of these classes.
So ksky.com.
Yeah, go to ksky.com, go to the Wells Report page.
I'm sorry, 660 AM The Answer.
I'm sorry. AM 660. Okay, so the website is this, 660amtheanswer.com.
Yes.
Go to the Wells Report page, and you will find that active shooter seminar being given by the FBI.
FBI Dallas.
FBI Dallas. And we're trying to get in touch with what's his name?
Rod Fullenwinder.
Rod Fullenwinder. As we speak, we're trying to get in touch with him to give us a little bit of an idea, maybe a head start on what we should do if we are in a situation where we are mandated that we absolutely simply must be defenseless before the maelstrom. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759 is our telephone number. And so what do you do? I mean, think about this for a minute. Okay. I am a CHL holder. Should I go into the Cinemark, which has the exact same policy as the Grand Theaters in Lafayette? Should I go in there unarmed? What should I do? 866-660-5759. I mean, what would you do? I mean, clearly, if you're in a situation where obviously, if you are identified as carrying a weapon and they ask you to leave, you've got to leave. And I suppose that protects you and your family, assuming that your family would go with you. I know mine would. I mean, if I'm not there to protect my family, then why do I have a CHL? Having a CHL is, it's the commitment I made to be a sheepdog in this society. That's what I'm going to do. So what do? Do I ignore the code of conduct and carry the weapon in? What do? I mean, I could be charged. It says arrested. If indeed I am arrested, that would be somebody who refused to comply with an order to leave. I would obviously leave. And what about the liability aspects of this? What about the liability of all of this?
Special report in 1 minute.
Clearly, what's going to end up happening? Clearly, these people in in the thrall of this code of conduct policy are rendered defenseless at the demand of Grand Theaters. I don't know about you, but my lawyer Frankel and Frankel. Free plug. Scott Frankel. Scott Frankel. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, my lawyer would be all over him. You're listening to the Wells Report. So what do? Do you ignore this wrong-headed, stupid, dangerous policy? What do? You're listening to the Wells Report.
With an SRA News special report, our path across. Police say a 58-year-old white man opened fire at a movie theater in Louisiana Thursday night, killing at least 3 people and injuring several others before dying of a self-inflicted gunshot. Lafayette Police Chief Jim Kraft says officers responded to a report of an active shooter at the movie theater.
4 officers entered the theater to engage the shooter. They did hear shots being fired at that time.
Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal says investigators will try to get to the reason behind the shooting.
Whenever we see these or hear about these senseless acts of violence, it makes us both furious and sad at the same time.
Lafayette police say they know the identity of the gunman but are not releasing it at this point. The shooting came on the same day that a jury in Colorado refused to rule out the death penalty for convicted theater shooter James Holmes. He killed 12. This has been an SRN News Special Report.
Hi, this is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I'd like for you to join me on my talk show this weekend. What I do is teach people how to go the natural, organic route. I stir up trouble, too, because I throw out some things that a lot of people just don't think are correct. You know what? We have a lot of experience to back up what we recommend. Have healthier gardens and more fun gardening. Join me this and every weekend.
Join Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Each week and every Saturday afternoon, whether you're remodeling an existing house or building a new one, doing it yourself or hiring a professional, we're here to bring you interviews with the experts and take your phone calls. And we bring it to you with a little green, whether it be energy efficiency or organic products for your house. So join us each week for a little House Talk Today.
House Talk Today, Saturday afternoon from 1 to 3 on 660 AM. The Answer.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes. By calling now, you can whiten your teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, red wine, or smoking. The Power Swabs 5-minute challenge is available by responding to this advertisement. If lines are busy, try again. Because the Power Swabs 5-minute challenge is exclusive, it's not available in drugstores. Power Swabs was formulated by Dr. Martin Ginniger and whitens teeth with a patented tooth detergent and whitening agent. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. Get it risk-free. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037. Transform your smile into a wow, you look great smile. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037.
This plan is not insurance and does not meet minimum credible coverage requirements under the Affordable Care Act. This discount card program contains a 30-day cancellation and refund period. Administrator and benefits limited in Dallas, Texas, not available in all states. Are your medical expenses and insurance costs out of control? There's a way to pay less for the healthcare you need. RealMedSavings.com. It's a membership like a club that lets you access huge networks of medical professionals for a whole lot less money. Real Med Savings even connects you with a board-certified physician anytime, 24 hours a day. The doctor will consult with you, diagnose the condition, and when necessary, call in the prescription. You pay nothing for the doctor's consultation because you're a member. You save money because we've already negotiated discounts on dental, vision, prescription drugs, and much more. Just go to RealMedSavings.com and learn all about it. Real Med Savings is not insurance. You just save real money on your health care for you and your whole family, and it costs less than $1 a day for the whole family. No salesperson will call, and there is no long-term commitment. Convenient, money-saving healthcare. RealMedSavings.com.
What does heat mean to Dallas-Fort Worth? It means higher utility bills. It means more wear and tear on your air conditioner. The Texas heat means more heat coming through your windows. Hi, I'm Dave Traynor from the Window Connection. That's right. Your window is actually radiating heat to the inside of the house. Just conducting a full-fledged war against your air conditioning and your nice, cool AC. Well, just the other day, I was on a house. You know, it was only 95 degrees outside, but the windowsill was actually 108 degrees. That's right. It was 108 degrees inside the house. Once I put in a new window that had heat reflective glass and argon gas, I actually got that windowsill temperature to drop all the way down to normal room temperature. And I can do the same thing for you.
Call the Window Connection for an estimate at 972-620-1994. That's 972-620-1994. Or go online to thewindowconnection.net.
A few days ago, Brooke Tudine posted an inspirational quote on her wall that got 17 likes and 3 comments. Thumbs up, Brooke. Geico also wants to make a comment. In just 15 minutes, you could save hundreds of dollars on your car insurance by switching to Geico. And nothing says inspiration better than saving money. Well, except for those posters that say things like teamwork, excellence, and make it happen. Hashtag keep climbing. Hashtag savings.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Do you worry that the stock market bubble is ready to pop? If you're retired or retiring soon and can't afford to lose your savings in the next stock market crash, don't miss the free Money Matters Retirement Seminar 1 p.m. Saturday in the Money Matters building on Dallas Parkway in Plano. Ken Moraif has been featured in Market Watch, Wall Street Journal, Kiplinger's, and Forbes. Clients that followed Ken's advice were out of the stock market in 2008. Don't miss it. Reserve at moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net or call 800-994-0302.
Saying I don't know is no longer acceptable. This is 660 AM, The Answer. You're hearing tomorrow's front page on the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Another shooting tonight in Lafayette, Louisiana. It was a screening of the movie Trainwreck, starring Amy Schumer, who immediately reached out on Twitter and sent condolences to the victims and all the people of Louisiana. What a classy act. I also want to thank Bud Kennedy of the Star Telegram for retweeting that, because I didn't follow Amy Schumer and would not have seen it otherwise. And God bless Bud Kennedy, longtime friend of the Wells Report. So another person decides to take it upon themselves to end the lives of others. 2 others, including his own life, taken tonight in a movie theater that demanded complete defenselessness on all those that would follow the rules. It's horrific. It is a horrific, terrible, and oh yeah, flamingly dangerous thing to do. All right, there is another press conference going on right this very moment. It looks like James Trent, the police chief, is now speaking to the press. Jim Kraft.
Conditions upgraded. I think one victim has been released from the hospital. And again,
I saw one victim. I personally saw at least one victim being released.
The teachers? Yes. The injuries range from non-life-threatening to critical. We know that one victim was in surgery and was not doing well. And so we're getting constant updates from the medical facilities. We do have police officers there to make sure those folks are protected, and we'll continue to get updates throughout the night while we work this scene.
Can you give us any?
To be able to return to their homes at Greenbrier condominiums.
I think that's going to take time, Chief, if I may. Once we clear the car, once we go inside the building and clear that, and then we can let the technicians actually start working the crime scene itself. Probably several hours to get that done. And again, I don't want to put a time limit on it because this is about safety. It won't be open, and they won't be allowed to go back till we know or feel that they're absolutely safe. That's why you're going to hear the noise around the car, so people will hear that. That's strictly us working. and making sure that I'm not going to put a trooper in there to open that trunk or go inside their car. So it's going to take a while, but hopefully we can do it as quickly as possible, but also as safely as possible.
You said that the suspect entered the movie theater alone. Can you explain how you know that?
We think he was alone. Just from eyewitnesses that we've interviewed already, no one reported seeing him sitting with anyone. He appeared to be by himself.
Can you give us any ages of the victims?
The ages range from the late teens to probably into the 60s.
How about those?
We're actually talking to a family right now, so let's give that family a chance, get that information out there. Right. I think that's important. I mean, that's closure to that family. It's a horrible situation to have something like that happen. So it was important to us to go in there and ID the bodies in there. And we have done that, and they're actually talking to the families now.
That is Mike Edmondson of the Louisiana State Police.
Notifications to family members who went to the hospital to check on their loved ones.
You said 100 people were in the theater. Was that the entire theater or just the actual movie theater where the movie was going on?
We don't know exactly the head count inside the theater, that particular theater itself, but I was told when I arrived on scene that we had about 100 people to interview.
An idea about motive?
Not yet. This kind of stuff just leaves you wondering. Why would a guy come into a theater, in this city, we have a relatively safe city, and just, randomly start shooting people. It's hard to figure out. And he's deceased, so we may not ever know.
How many weapons did you recover from the scene?
We haven't recovered any yet.
Guys, we're going to stop this press conference. The next press conference will probably take place once the building is secure and cleared, okay? We'll let you know when that's going to take place. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
All right, so there you go from courtesy of KLFY in Lafayette, Louisiana. Another press conference tonight with a few more details about some of the victims and some of the injuries. They have one person in surgery, and as you heard, that surgery was not going well, which is bad news. By the way, the people speaking, Jim Kraft, Chief of Police, he did most of the talking. Mike Edmondson of the Louisiana State Police ended the press conference there. They are now walking away from the cameras. You are listening to the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer. I asked a question earlier. As this movie theater demands that people be defenseless before the wolves, what do we sheepdogs do? Do we just not go to the movies? Do we follow the rules? Do we ignore the rules? We'll answer those questions next. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
The Mark Davis Show.
Seems like every hot topic this week is actually getting a moment in Congress. There's the Iranian nuclear deal getting grilled as senators describe how John Kerry got rolled by Iran. There's Kate Steinle's dad giving a face to the cost of illegal immigrant crime. In our Friday morning adventure, we'll cover what we want lawmakers to do, how the presidential candidates are doing, and what the weekend and the future hold. Join us.
The Mark Davis Show. Weekday mornings at 7, right before Mike Gallagher at 10 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hi, this is Andy Tuttle, host of Tuttle Talk every Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. right here on 660 AM. The Answer. We're in a real estate market where there's a lot of difficulty, but in difficulty, there's a lot of opportunity as well. Buying, selling, avoiding foreclosure, modifying your credit, all these things are so important to your livelihood. This show is dedicated to cutting through some of the big headlines that you see out there and teaching you how to win in any marketplace. Thank you for tuning in to Tuttle Talk every Sunday, 4 p.m. on 660 AM. The Answer. I look forward to speaking with you.
This isn't a commercial. It's a gift to anyone who's sick and tired of dealing with their hearing loss. Because we'll give everyone who calls a risk-free trial of a life-changing hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear. Not only that, we'll also give you free shipping and free batteries for life. But you must call now. 1-800-700-9313. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. So if you're sick of dealing with your hearing loss, Let us give you a 100% risk-free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-700-9313. That's 1-800-700-9313. 1-800-700-9313.
Be honest. Will owning a bigger TV help you get ahead in life? Will another pair of shoes make you a better person? Probably not. But what if you could speak another language? If acquiring a new language excites you more than acquiring more stuff, then wait until you hear this. As part of its biggest language learning event in history, Rosetta Stone is giving away demos of its powerful language learning software absolutely free. For your free demo, call 1-800-700-3017. And Rosetta Stone has made language learning more convenient than ever. Learn on your computer or iPad, then practice on the go with your smartphone or MP3 player without ever opening a book or memorizing boring vocabulary again. Do you want more stuff, or do you want a language that will last a lifetime? After all, it's all about priorities. To try a free demo of this powerful language learning software, call 1-800-700-3017. Again, get your free demo now. 1-800-700-3017. That's 1-800-700-3017.
Summertime. Kids are out of school. It's vacations all around, but let's get very serious about the fall and next year and the rest of your financial life. Here's an opportunity at the end of July, July 31st, August 1st, in fact, to get into the latest New Venture on Wall Street seminars. Hey, Mark Davis, I've done this and I loved it. It has helped me enormously. NVOWS.com, the website for New Venture on Wall Street. NVOWS.com. See what they do. Pastor David Mitchell's plan on helping you get into the stock market and understand it a little better, be a little smarter, invest a little more wisely, retire earlier, get a second income stream. There's a seminar in Fort Worth at the Norris Conference Center on Houston Street, another in Richardson on East Campbell Road at the Hyatt Regency. Take your pick, July 31st, August 1st, and call and get yourself a seat right now. 877-907-TRADE. 877-907-TRADE. New Venture on Wall Street. Learn about it at NVOWS.com. NVOWS.com, then get your seat now at 877-907-TRADE, 877-907-TRADE.
Our sister station, 94.9 KLTY in Dallas Baptist University, welcome Matt Redman. Sunday, July 26th, Matt Redman at First Baptist Church in Louisville. With 2 Grammy Awards, Matt Redman's songs are heard around the world. Now you and your family have an opportunity to see Matt Redman in concert Sunday, July 26th at First Baptist Church in Louisville. Get your tickets now at itickets.com. This will be his only North Texas appearance, so don't wait. Get your tickets to see international recording artist and songwriter Matt Redman. Go to itickets.com. Our sister station, 94.9 KLTY in Dallas Baptist University, welcome Matt Redman.
660 AM. 660 AM. The Answer. 660 AM. TheAnswer.com. Isn't thinking so much more fun than getting yelled at? The Weld Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
Oh! You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Steve in Rosser, Texas. Welcome to the Wells Report, my friend. Hi.
Thank you, man. I want to make a comment on this. We go to the movies about once a week, sometimes more than that. And sometimes it's my fiance and I, and sometimes it's her and I and our kids. I have 3 young ones. I don't care what their policy is. I also have a policy. And that's for whenever we go out in the public that we can all come home safely. So, we take our weapons. We don't care what the policy is. Both of us do. And as a matter of fact, when we went and saw American Sniper, I had my 9mm on me, 2 spare clips, and my hunting knife. And I always go in like that because I'm not going to be a fish in a barrel, and neither is my family.
There you go. Those are magazines, by the way, not clips.
I'm sorry, magazines.
Yes. It's my God-given right to make sure that everybody knows that magazines contain bullets and clips hold them.
Correct.
So
2 10-round magazines for my Beretta. I'm sorry, you corrected me.
There you go. There you go, my friend. Thanks very much for joining us. I appreciate it. And I, it's really the absurdity of all of it is palpable. In the coming days, you're going to hear more people talk about more laws that that make it impossible to defend yourself. I mean, let's take a look at this. If you could pass a law that would have, say, shall we say, 93% compliance, would you be happy? I mean, especially, this is a stupid question insofar as the current administration, they only enforce the laws based on the politics of the moment. Okay, so when it comes right down to it, if there's a political imperative to not enforce a law, then that law will not be enforced. I wonder what the reportage of all of this would be. For example, if a man in his late 50s stood up in a theater and started shooting, what would the stories look like if he was black, for example? The answer is a lot different than what we're going to see in the newspapers tomorrow. There were already laws on the books that this guy completely ignored. Completely ignored in order to have his moment, his murderous moment in this theater. And remember, this all went essentially uncurtailed until people with guns showed up to take out the bad guy with guns. When good people with guns showed up, the situation was immediately over with. And this guy did it at his own hand. So that means he knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew that it was exactly wrong. If indeed this guy is another one of those, lone wolf guys, then obviously we're going to have to change our policies in the United States. And we need to do it, but fast. But let me explain just how difficult that's going to be. Let me explain how incredibly difficult it's going to be to change policies in the United States. The reason that it's going to be so difficult to change policies in the United States is because of the incomparable nincompoopage of the people that are currently in charge of at least half of America's political process. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. You ready for this? It appears as though, thanks to ctpost.com, which is a news organization in Connecticut, that Thomas Jefferson and Andrew Jackson are going to be scrubbed. Those names are going to be scrubbed when the Democrat Party, the state Democrat Party, holds its annual fundraising dinner. Andrew Jackson, Thomas Jefferson, theoretically the founder of the Democrat Party. Thomas Jefferson wouldn't have anything to do with this Democrat Party. Anyway, that being said, he and Andrew Jackson, those presidents, will not be a part of the state Democrat Party fundraising dinner because thanks to the NAACP in Connecticut, the two presidents' names will be scrubbed from the annual fundraising dinner because of their ties to slavery. How flamingly dumb is that? How remarkably stupid is that? Now, once again, this is not the NAACP's problem. I'm not criticizing the NAACP. I'm criticizing the butt-kissing of the state Democrat Party. That's what I'm doing. Party leaders voted unanimously last night in Hartford, Connecticut, to rename the annual Jefferson Jackson Bailey Dinner in the aftermath of last month's fatal shooting of 9 worshipers in an historic black church in Charleston, South Carolina. The decision is believed to be unprecedented, could prompt Democrats in other states with similarly named events to follow suit and burn all those books. Burn all those programs. Change the name of the dinner. I see it as the right thing to do, said the demagoguing Nick Boletto, the party's first-year chairman. That's what he said to Hearst Connecticut media. Quote, I wasn't looking to be a trailblazer or set off a trend that's going to affect the rest of the country. Hopefully they'll follow suit when they see it's the right thing to do. That's right. We need to disavow 2 of our presidents. That's what we need to do because of their ties to slavery. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great idea there. Not. So when you try to do something like, I don't know, figure out a way to keep people safe in the United States, you have to deal with this level of crepuscular thinking, don't you? The answer, of course, is yes. These people cannot think their way out of a wet body bag. And that's what they want us to do. They want us to fall right in line before the fantastic, brilliant idea that we are all better off if we are totally defenseless. Which has got to be the dumbest, most absurd garbage I've heard in forever age. Stupid. Idiots. Total idiots. Just unbelievable. To go on with this dumb explanation, Democrats cited Jefferson and Jackson's ownership as slaves as a key factor in the decision, as well as Jackson's role in the removal of Native Americans from the southeastern U.S. in what was known as the Trail of Tears. I think the Trail of Tears was the removal of, southeastern U.S. Okay, right. Yeah, that was where they took the Cherokees to Oklahoma. Democrats, in 2005, the school board in the city of Berkeley, California, considered a measure to change the name of Thomas Jefferson Elementary School for similar reasons, but the moniker remains. Scott X. Dale, the head of the Connecticut NAACP, said it was high time for Democrats to rebrand the event. I would applaud the current leaders in Connecticut in making the symbolic first step and striving to right the wrongs of the past. You can't right all the wrongs, but I think it's a symbolic gesture of our support for the party. Sure. The decision immediately drew criticism from some historians as a politically correct overstep. This included Robert Turner, a law professor at the University of Virginia, which was founded by Thomas. You can't say his name now because he was a slave owner. Thomas. Does this mean that they need to take the Jeffersons off of TV land? So anyway, Turner said this, it's a sad and short-sighted decision based on tragic ignorance. This, according to Robert Turner, the law professor I just spoke of. It's just awful. This December will mark the 150th anniversary of the enactment of the 13th Amendment of the Constitution, which abolished slavery. The authors of the amendment purposely chose language drafted by Jefferson in an unsuccessful effort to outlaw slavery in the Northwest Territories as a means of Jefferson's struggle against slavery. A new name for the event, which marked its 67th year in June with Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren as its headliner, will be chosen in the fall. The Obama-Biden dinner? Vicky just said this. It should be named after Senator Elizabeth Warren, and it should be used immediately to identify and praise all those Native Americans being evacuated out of the Southeast. What's the name of that thing again? Yeah, here we go. The dinner will be called The Last of the Fohicans. Yeah, the fundraiser. It's a dinner. Yeah, it's a dinner. Unflipping believable. You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. We are waiting for more news coming out of Lafayette. Police confirmed 3 dead, including the gunman at a Lafayette, Louisiana movie theater. We'll bring you any more details that we can find as we continue into the night here on 660 AM The Answer. You are listening to the Wells Report.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes. By calling now, you can whiten your teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, red wine, or smoking. The Power Swabs 5-minute challenge is available by responding to this advertisement. If lines are busy, try again. Because the Power Swabs 5-minute challenge is exclusive, it's not available in drugstores. Power Swabs was formulated by Dr. Martin Ginniger and whitens teeth with a patented tooth detergent and whitening agent. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. Get it risk-free. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037. Transform your smile into a wow, you look great smile. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037.
You just can't get your house to cool down, and your AC, well, it's running nonstop. The AC service company says it's running correctly, but it's still too hot. Who you gonna call? HeatBusters! Call 817-422-6868 or visit theheatbusters.com.
Check. It has been a story that has revulsed most Americans in the United States. It is a story that brings revulsion to most Americans in the United States. It is a story of Planned Parenthood and what they do with what is left over of the amazing, what is left over after their work in the amazing abortion industry in the United States. It's terrifying, in fact, that we would actually have an organization as evil as Planned Parenthood. So what's going to happen next? The Department of Justice is investigating the horrors of Planned Parenthood. They're investigating the group that busted Planned Parenthood. Really? Yeah. And we talk about it next time on the Wells Report. Can you do that? I'm sorry. Mark Davis, thanks very much for this opportunity to join you on your Friday morning radio marathon, my friend. You sound great as always. Look, coming up on the next edition of the Wells Report, we're going to try to make heads or tails out of a political Department of Justice that just has lost its moral compass. The story of Planned Parenthood has revulsed most Americans. Stories of what happens to the unfortunate millions that end. The story of what happens to the unfortunate millions who end their lives in a Planned Parenthood clinic. What happens to what's left? We've been talking about it, and it's horrifying. The Department of Justice has finally decided to go ahead and investigate Planned Parenthood and all this horror. Oh, no. The DOJ now plans to investigate the group that busted Planned Parenthood. Have we truly lost our way? Certainly the Department of Justice has, and we'll talk about it next time on the Wells Report.
Like a discount club that lets you access huge networks of medical professionals for a whole lot less money. You save money because we've already negotiated the discounts. RealMedSavings.com costs less than $1 a day for the whole family. But Real Med Savings is not just for dental. It's doctor's consultations, vision, prescription drugs, and more. There's no long-term commitment and no salesman is going to call. Cancel anytime. Save real money on healthcare you need and use for everyday medical problems. Real medical savings for your entire family. RealMedSavings.com.
Have you ever considered joining the military but stopped because you couldn't deploy to a foreign country? Believe it or not, the state of Texas has its own military force that stands alongside the Texas National Guard, the Texas Air National Guard, and serves only inside the state of Texas. It's called the Texas State Guard. I'm Tech Sergeant John Wells of the 4th Air Wing, and we're looking for you to join us. Give us a call at 877-398-8350. That's 877-398-8350. If you love Texas as much as we do, join the 4th Air Wing of the Texas State Guard.
Do you worry that the stock market bubble is ready to pop? If you're retired or retiring soon and can't afford to lose your savings in the next stock market crash, don't miss the free Money Matters Retirement Seminar 1 p.m. Saturday in the Money Matters building on Dallas Parkway in Plano. Ken Moraif has been featured in Market Watch, Wall Street Journal, Kiplinger's, and Forbes. Clients that followed Ken's advice were out of the stock market in 2008. Don't miss it. Reserve at moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net or call 800-994-0302.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Now, the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. Don't forget Mark Davis tomorrow morning, starting his day at 5 o'clock. He'll bring you the very latest in a horrifying attack by a gunman in a Lafayette movie theater. It happened tonight. This man killed 2 people, injured 7 others before killing himself. Sergeant Brooks David of the Louisiana State Police described the alleged shooter in the incident as a white male about 58 years old who entered the theater by himself. Authorities now know the identity of the man but are not yet releasing it. About 100 people were inside the theater at the time. The victims range in age from the late teens to the 60s. This according to Lafayette Police Chief Jim Kraft. The man did have a criminal history, but it was pretty old. Shortly after midnight Friday, Chief Kraft said that what was believed to be the vehicle of the alleged shooter had been found, and there was a suspicious package inside. Louisiana State Police Bomb Squad was investigating last we heard. A backpack and other items were also inside the vehicle, according to Colonel Mike Edmondson of the Louisiana State Police Department. Louisiana State Police. Another Grand Theater in the city was closed. Additional police were deployed to other theaters as a precautionary measure. This, according to Chief Kraft, in addition to the representatives from the state police and local police department, representatives of the FBI and district attorney were on site. More details as they become available. You're listening to the Wells Report. Our executive producer is Vicki Stifer. Technical director is Matt Swinney. I'm Jon-David Wells. Have a nice night. Join Mark Davis tomorrow for more information on 660 AM The Answer.
20 plus years of unemployment. That's what retirement is or should be, but imagine still working when you're 75 because you didn't have an exit plan for the next stock market crash. If you think your current plan has too much risk, listen to Rick Foster and Kevin Christ Sundays at 11 a.m. on 660 AM The Answer. Rick and Kevin will tell you the truth about the financial world we live in. No one knows when the next correction will be. So listen to Plain Talk No Worries with Rick Foster and Kevin Christ Sundays at 11 a.m. on 660 AM The Answer.
This is Greg Thornbury of the King's College in New York for townhall.com. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia is unfit to serve and must be removed from serving henceforth on the nation's highest court. That's according to Jeffrey Taylor, writing recently for Salon.com. So why is it that the conservative justice must be removed? Taylor argues that he suffers from an acute sense of faith derangement syndrome, or FDS, and therefore cannot be relied upon to adjudicate without prejudice. It's the sort of biting satire that we don't see too much of these days, and it's not particularly good. But it is revealing. So what specific belief, you might be asking, does Scalia hold that makes him so odious? Justice Scalia is a Catholic who believes in heaven and hell. If that sort of faith makes a man or woman unfit to serve, the future of the nation itself looks grim indeed. I'm Greg Thornbury.
Finally, the rain appears to be over and summer is upon us. The recent rains have caused the clay soil to expand and raised some homes with foundation problems, making them appear to be fixed. I'm Tom Kidd, engineering graduate of Texas A&M and owner of Structured Foundation Repairs. Our number is 972-484-1200. Listen, heavy rain swelling the clay soil and raising homes with foundation problems is like pumping air into a tire with a slow leak. It may look like the tire is fixed, but it is still leaking air and will eventually go flat again. If you think this might be happening with your home, call Structured Foundation Repairs today for a free, comprehensive evaluation of your foundation. We'll let you know if you have a foundation problem or if you're just experiencing normal seasonal movement. We'll also check to see if you have a drainage problem around your home and make recommendations if the drainage should be improved. We're fully insured and our peers come back by a lifetime transferable warranty. So if you have questions about your foundation or think you might have a drainage problem, call Structured Foundation Repairs today at 972-484-1200 or click structuredfoundation.com.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Paul Stevens. 3 people are dead, including a lone gunman after a shooting Thursday night at a movie theater in Lafayette, Louisiana.
It appears that the shooter has died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after discharging his weapon numerous times.
Lafayette Police Chief Jim Kraft. 7 others injured, those injuries ranging from non-life-threatening to critical. Police identifying the shooter at this point only as a 58-year-old white male, but they say they do have his name. Several officials racing to the scene, including Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal.
This is an awful night for Lafayette. This is an awful night for Louisiana. This is an awful night for the United States. But we will get through this again.
That attack taking place shortly after the start of a 7 p.m. local time showing of the movie Trainwreck. Late word just in, the police have identified the shooter's car. The area around the theater has been evacuated after a suspicious package was spotted. And this is a Fox News alert.
You're listening to 660 AM, The Answer. The Mark Davis Show. Mark Davis Show.
Seems like every hot topic this week is actually getting a moment in Congress. There's the Iranian nuclear deal getting grilled as senators describe how John Kerry got